Welcome to another round of Spudventures. This week we are beginning a new Chronicle of Vampire the Masquerade, 5th edition, with me as your storyteller, the Blood Virulent, Session 0 for character building, content deciding, that sort of thing. With me, I've got, as of yet, without characters, but that'll be solved hopefully by the end of this, VerminQuest.
Hello.
Azure Mountain.
Hey there.
Oblivious.
Is that actually how you pronounce it? I always pronounce it Virulent.
Good question. Avis.
Goodbye.
And Space Jawa.
Hello.
Oh boy, the voices are back. I guess just to kind of preface this, I've never played or run anything in the World of Darkness before. Has anyone else here played Vampire, Werewolf, any of those before?
Nope.
I have, but it was ages ago.
Pretty much all my role-playing experiences with this group, so.
The most I can say I have is a glance through the TV tropes page and a reading through, I'd say, over half of this instruction manual.
Yeah.
I did a session of World of Darkness years and years ago. AKA, I don't remember any of it.
When I was in high school, I used to read the old version of the books just over and over, but I never actually got anyone to get a game together. So I've just been wanting to play for a long time.
So we are all very relatively new, and I guess I point that out just to be like, if you're watching this and you are very familiar, don't gatekeep, please. we're gonna make mistakes, and it's gonna be a little weird and interesting, but this is Spudventures, and whenever I'm in the host chair, which I am for this one, that's what I like to do. I like to do something kind of weird and experimental.
We have no idea what we're doing, and that just makes it all the more fun.
Honestly, it kind of does. Now that we're in the thick of it, it's like, yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. But for this one, I especially wanted to keep things open-ended because Vampire the Masquerade is very different from our usual fare, even the homebrew stuff we do. It's not like D&D medieval fantasy. It's modern kind of gothic horror, personal and political. It has a lot of potential to go to some dark places. It has a lot of potential to be kind of darkly hilarious. There's a lot of things we can do with this. A lot of rabbit holes we can go down. And unlike what we usually do, which is someone sets up a campaign and everyone kind of shows up to find out what it is, I kind of wanted to make this a bit more collaborative and kind of figure out from you guys the sort of where the boundaries are and what you're actually interested in here while we're exploring character building and whatnot. If that makes any sense.
You don't want the trees to feel pain.
Okay, noted. So it's kind of for my benefit. I don't have anything planned, but I usually improv most of everything anyway. But
that's a very good skill to have as a GM.
Yeah. So I'm going to take what suggestions and rules you set here and use that to make the campaign. Starting with one of the questions I had, which I wasn't sure about because it might be a little kind of weird and uncomfortable. For the broad setting, which is supposed to be kind of today, now, in a world where the shadows are a little longer and you are one of the things lurking in those shadows. How would you all feel about playing in a world where the coronavirus pandemic is happening.
I do not have an issue with that whatsoever. I think it's I don't mind topical.
Depends on if vampires are susceptible, because
They are not.
Okay.
I would. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, personally, I wouldn't be a fan of that, mostly because it's kind of like it's sort of
I
like
feel like
there's so much of it. It would. I mean, so with this, I mean, games like this, it's kind of to get away from that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like we're trying to get away into a world where it's that.
To put things
still.
into perspective, Jawa, one of the things about World of Darkness is it kind of part of the horror is that you're actually blending it with a more familiar setting. Like very frequently what groups do is they find a city that they're familiar with and say, like, I live in Atlanta, so it would be set in Atlanta usually. Because part of the thing that you set it around is like, hey, these are all familiar locations, but we're adding the layer of, oh, there's supernatural stuff going on top of everything.
But we don't have to do that.
We don't have to, no.
Yeah, and I thought it would be interesting and also to be a little cathartic to be like, you're immune to that and you don't have that concern, but it still has like
implications on the world.
Implications on the world of darkness. But if that is weird and uncomfortable and you'd rather just kind of pretend everything is fine in the world, then we don't have to. And that is kind of one of the kind of the big weird questions I wanted to figure out today.
Well,
my job description has that entire coronavirus being the forefront of my everyday since February. So
right, you actually work in the health industry, so yeah,
so
you have the most reason to be like, no, please, never.
Well, I particularly am very easygoing and don't care if there is an option to not. I'm don't want to be the deciding force, but I'd rather not, but I can if it's like what everyone wants to do. I don't particularly care.
Well, I'm also, and I did mention this to Spud beforehand, but the situation for me where if everyone else wants to go a certain way and I'm not good with that, then I think Din is on standby where if everyone else wants something that I'm not good with, then I'll tap out and let him tap in. So
I think the idea here is we try to collaborate on something we all agree with.
Right. I'm just trying to lay out that, I mean, I'm not going to try and veto something that the rest of the group wants.
You do have the option to yeet yourself out of the group if possible.
And no hard feelings if it comes to that.
Right. I'm just making sure nobody thinks that if everyone wants something, they should accommodate just me, and that there is someone ready to step in, you know, if the rest of the group wants something that where I don't want to make my, well,
I think
you don't want to be yourself to be the deciding factor and the reason why everyone doesn't get a thing.
Kind of like what Avis said. I don't want to be the deciding factor that keeps everyone else having things away. Everyone else,
we're all pretty gentle people here, very gentle, reasonable, understanding people here. But at the same time, I do want to be like, if something makes you like genuinely uncomfortable, or if there is something that you're like, man, I get one shot at this and I really want to make sure this happens, do feel free to mention that and bring that up, because this should be, because the kind of the side effect of it being a more collaborative process.
We want this to be fun.
It's also going to be kind of a bit more like open and vulnerable, and so I want this to be. I don't want anyone to feel like imposed, like, oh, I can't put myself above the group. No, you can put yourself forward a little bit.
Okay, well, I'll put it this way. I am real life. I'm long past sick of the whole virus thing, and I'm not interested in playing a game that's gonna even if you're immune, where that's gonna be some sort of main theme you have to worry about anyway.
Yeah, so that is totally fine, and it's just an idea I had. The Blood Virulent still applies to you as vampires without having a reference to any sort of virus.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting one. I think he's just you'd have to kind of just be sure to do things so that it's not, I don't know, tasteless or anything. So if half of us are kind of like then it might just be better to, I don't know, maybe it could pop up later or something after everything's done and we have a little bit of I don't know, reference.
I feel like with the whole masquerade and needing to hunt for blood, certain like types of predators, as they're called in the book, would
they have to be more careful.
Yeah, and have more difficulty getting that blood with the pandemic.
Yeah, I think that that there's something to explore there, but I'm going to decide right now that it's not going to be part of our game. It's just not.
Yeah.
In our world of darkness, it's this global pandemic thing is just normal life.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how it plays out, but not necessarily for this group to play out.
Like if it was a stranger storyteller, like I'd be a lot more wary of that. But I'm incredibly familiar with how you do things. So I was like, yeah, you wouldn't be really.
I appreciate that, thank you, but I'm just making a decision now. We're not doing that. So yeah, thank you. That's kind of one of the things I wanted to be like, this is a subject that could be weird. That's, might be a line no one really wants to cross. So thank you.
Took that idea and shot it in the back of the head.
And Avis, I cut you off there earlier. What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
Okay, sorry about that.
I don't remember at all.
No, it's fine.
Which kind of brings us to one of the questions I posed to you kind of earlier this week. What might be some other things that might be kind of like subject matter that would be weird and uncomfortable for you that you want to make sure it just either doesn't come up or is treated like very lightly handled? Just so that everyone knows. And roll.
Bad.
Huh?
What?
Be bad. Don't be a dick.
Help everyone not be a dick to each other.
Well, the two things that are coming to mind are if we avoid, whatever we get into, if we could not get like in explicit territory, and second, like not and I recognize that on some level it's not entirely avoidable given vampires, but kind of the darker occult kind of stuff.
Would you care to define that further? Because I don't know if I really understand it the way you're thinking of it.
No, I understand.
Like what about this is making you Sorry, I'm trying to pry a bit too deep there.
No, I understand. No, I understand.
But like when you say the occult, we're dealing with vampires and werewolves.
Yeah, that's what I'm. I recognize there's some of it that's maybe unavoidable with vampires, but
Diablerie is kind of a vampire thing, so I don't know how we could avoid that.
Like, are we talking like cult stuff, like devil stuff? Like what specifically are?
That's like getting too deep into it. I can recognize that it's stuff that would be touched on.
What would be too deep?
Seeing it on a spiritual level or seeing it on a religious level, because those can be two different tiers of how things can go.
Well, like how would you define the two? How would you define the difference between the two?
Spiritual is like mastery of self and all that through trying to transcend mortal desires and things, whereas religiosity, that's usually beholden to dogma and for lack of a better term, extra dimensional beings and so on and so forth.
Religion, like I believe everything about the God in the Bible. Spiritual, I believe in a higher power, not specifically named or associated with a particular religion or whatnot. But there are things above me that I cannot understand and do not.
I think we explained it well enough.
Yeah.
Because it gets pretty clear when you go beyond, like, a tier when you go into tiers like that. Like
I'm pretty
okay,
sure Spud's not going to go cleanse all the Christians or something like that. If that's what
Well,
you mean.
I'm not talking about stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, like trying to put it into words.
I'm asking for like a really kind of like vulnerable amount of self-introspection. I understand that. I really don't know where the line is and what's making you uncomfortable, and I want to try and make sure that doesn't happen.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, and I also have like I guess specific questions for it, just because I was really thinking about playing a Tremere, and that's gonna probably kind of come up with that kind of character, considering they're the like magic ones. So
The blood
I don't know if
sorcerers, yeah.
right. So I don't know if you'd want to like look at that clan thing and see if there's anything that would bother you in there that we'd want to look at or something like that. But that's kind of on my end where my concern would be.
Well, it's possible there's, maybe it's stuff that wouldn't come up anyway, and I just read I don't know.
Content-wise,
Can you give me an example of something that would be too far?
Like, for example, if we found ourselves going into a dark chamber where they're performing human sacrifices to summon evil spirits.
No human sacrifices, then.
That's just like off the top of my head, an example of the kind of thing that would be.
So, like the like villainous occultism.
Yeah, that might be a
like
good,
people doing
good
like really nasty, messed up stuff for, the sake of devilry.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good way of summing it up.
Okay, then. So, no, like, really, like, no evil cults doing really graphically messed up stuff.
Though, this is something I know, it's going to be probably touched on next or after that is, the kind of the game I'm like aiming for, the theme or like the atmosphere probably wouldn't go more in that direction anyway.
You're thinking of Call of Cthulhu.
Okay. Well, okay.
Well, vampire, there's still like, there's blood
There's
magic
overlap,
and
sure,
well, there's certain elements that's gonna go together with vampires there anyway.
Yeah, you are
the same realm, but...
like here's the horror elements that we can't really take away from the system. There is a beast inside you that must be fed. You must drink the blood of creatures to sate it, or else you risk losing control to the beasts.
Yeah, that I recognize.
That's fine by you.
That's one of those classic vampire tropes of a class. It's one of those things that is universally vampire.
Yeah, but this game, it's like it's baked into the system. It's baked into like the dice you roll.
Blood baking.
Well, that's. I'm seeing that as like the dark, trying to keep the darkest parts under control.
Yeah, but you get hungrier the more you use your powers and with every day. So you must feed, or else the saying is, beast I am, lest beast I become. You must feed on the blood of humans or creatures, or else you will lose control and go into a frenzy.
And human blood is more sustaining.
But you can also choose to say, like, your predator type is like bagger, you only feed off of like blood packs from hospitals, or you only feed off of animals, which is less sustaining, but if you can manage to maintain that lifestyle, it's an option.
Just eat chickens, it's fine.
Well, I
do that anyway.
Ways, I guess this...
Same.
Trying not to get not push. Think too far ahead, but overall, I'm hoping for something that's probably more in the direction of dark humor or dark,
lighthearted.
You don't want it to be X-rated horror nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, more.
Like that would be interesting to see Spud do, but I don't think he would ever do that.
Well, I mean,
Here's the
I've
thing,
seen some
like
pretty
with
dark things.
between
I
like
don't think
Fallout
much
is
is
Dragons and everything else, like I know the script can get surprisingly dark at times, and I'd rather get ahead of that, especially in this system.
Oh, Spud, I can hold myself back pretty hard. You will not see as dark as I can get.
Unless
And
it
I've
slips
literally
out.
recorded some of my darkest
No,
moments.
you won't.
I mean,
I have a
if-
tight leash on this stuff.
Fair
I
enough.
mean, if I really wanted to, I could get pretty dark, but I don't want to go there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
same.
That's
That's
fine.
everyone has that capability. That's kind of what
There's
the
a time
system
and
kind of
place and a good
explores and
time for
allows
it.
you, gives you a space to explore. It's kind of part of its draw, I think.
Yeah,
But
just-
we're
just
getting
don't-
we're getting kind of on a philosophical tangent.
no
uh,
aberrant monsters. Got it.
I think this is a kind of a big overhanging question. So let's talk about like the kind of mini campaign over the next 3 sessions we want to have. Like, what kind of tone do we want to strike generally? Like, do we want it to be just kind of like slice of life kind of thing? Do we want to like have combat? Do we want to face off against something that is clearly unmistakably evil? Like, generally, what kind of game do you like to have?
I would like some combat, but other than that, I'm open to whatever.
Some action, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind combat, but I'm thinking more towards like
Role
I don't
playing
know.
heavy.
yeah, leaning more role playing over combat.
Yeah, I'm not saying combat needs to be the main focus, just I'd like a bit of it in there.
Ham it up, ham it up, ham it up.
Embrace the ham.
Vermin, what do you think?
I was thinking I mostly like the role playing stuff, and a little combat is fine. I'd kind of in my notes and put like I think that I think it can get a little dark if you want it. Like I think that kind of like makes the lighthearted parts kind of pop more too. I kind of like having a mix of both.
I'm feeling mixed, but leaning towards lighthearted.
Maybe sort
I
of a
have no
black
trouble with
comedy
lighthearted.
kind of thing.
We're
I
trying
don't
to
know.
stop.
I can't really plan that something's going to be funny. That's kind of going to depend a lot on you guys.
Right.
We're trying to
Yeah.
stop this antediluvian horror, but we crashed the car passing the donut shop.
Y'all break into my vet clinic, and I wonder how I'm going to feed all of this.
Hmm.
I am
I would-
doing the vet.
Like,
That's
actually,
the
that
only
also
My
brings up
concept-
that also brings up like a good question. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, but I do want to ask this question. Like, what kind of stakes do we want to have? Not like wooden stakes through the heart, but
I mean, I'll probably make some.
I prefer mine rare personally.
Medium well.
Medium rare.
Yeah. I think medium well done.
You kind of walked into this.
you
one,
kind of need to
Spud.
Steak
take
joke.
you kind of need to take special traits in order to advantages in order to be able to eat anything other than blood.
Yeah. I think it's like a 1 dot advantage, maybe 2.
Or you can use
One-
Flush of Life to like pretend in polite company, but then
Yeah.
you have to vomit it up later, and it's not great.
I'm gonna have to take something like that because I plan on having the literal lifeblood and the secondary lifeblood of coffee.
Hmm.
This is completely tanked vampire.
Blood is
My
your coffee now,
concept
though.
is
But I mean,
a
maybe an alternate way of putting it would be, being like comedic. I mean, humorous villainy.
Comedic dick
Again,
battery.
can't really plan to be funny.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, we'll make it
Yeah.
funny. Don't worry.
like we're villains, but being like using our opportunity, to in character be jerks to people to
Do you want that?
exploiting-
Do you want be a big doofus jerk campaign?
Well, maybe-
I mean, I'd imagine with Slice of Life, probably the worst we would be. It's like, okay, we have to drink blood to survive, but maybe there's a bigger dick bag out there somewhere.
So
Okay,
do we
where
want
we
like
fall
kind of
like
low
Karen.
stakes? Kind of like not like we have to stop this evil, elder vampire from enacting the ritual that will revive Satan himself, but more like we need to go on a road trip to get out of town because we're not liked here anymore.
Yeah, something like that is perfectly fine.
Like something that like affects your little world, but not like the area or domain or just like
we're not trying to
something that'll upset our status quo, but not necessarily the status quo of like anything larger.
Yeah, the road trip thing actually sounds kind of fun. I do like that idea. Yeah.
Something where if we fail, bad things will happen for us, but by and large, most of the world will keep on going the way it has.
I just kind of threw that idea out there as just sort of like an example of the stakes, but like
I know. It's kind of fun thinking about it though.
We're going on.
But I think Avis's character has like a concept where like she has like a job, a day job, and I think she wants to keep that.
Yeah,
so probably not going to do that.
I have gotten very attached to the idea. I'm sorry, you'll have to try it from my cold, dead fingers.
You're already dead.
Which you already have.
Exactly, so it makes it harder.
And my concept is a doctor turned street surgeon who operates out of a van.
Hey, that's a way to get.
Instead of free candy, it says free surgery on the back.
It's not free. I take their belongings and blood as payment.
While you're operating on them, you just be like.
Well, more like I extract their blood and then take it back to a lab and run it for drug tests.
And then drink it.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to use our parking lot for your truck. I'm sorry. We
I
told
will
you
not.
this yesterday.
This is a very weird concept of a food truck.
Yeah. I will not partake of drugs or alcohol.
It's a reverse
so I need
food
to test
truck.
my victim's blood.
The food into it.
Our food truck.
And you get a free surgery out of it.
Yep.
Well, not free, but
you've eaten the brood witch. You get free brain
You'll
surgery.
survive. If you are wounded, you will be healed.
That's a heck of a scam. I actually kind of love that concept.
I got some high quality positive here. Man,
so you got
from?
What I'm getting here is that you guys are just vampires trying to get through your day to day, and something happens to mess that all up.
That sounds about right.
We're looking.
I
looking
think that
for
works.
We're looking for an excuse to mess around.
Just
and now that I'm thinking about it, because my mind has been thinking about other things this entire week instead of any part of this game.
I kind of wanted to save it to discuss here out in the open, so everyone's on the same page anyway. So.
Yep. So, but if I am working this vet's clinic, if there are vampires in the city who do not want to partake in human blood, I have pets that have probably died, and I have access to their blood.
Just drain them and save it. Ugh.
I mean,
you do what you got to do.
I've got a similar thing.
All of the blood.
I mean, if you've got a dead body, no sense letting the blood go to waste.
Exactly.
Yeah, and chances are some of my patients are probably junkies. And I'm not going to drink that stuff, so I'll let someone else have it.
But you can deal it and be like, hey, I've got this sweet drug-laced blood if you want to hide.
Yep. Indeed.
I wonder if it even works.
You're street doc and a dealer for Kindred.
This is getting weirder and weirder, and I'm liking it.
Yeah, honestly,
Listen,
it's
characters. You guys gotta get up to this level. Let's go. Come on.
I mean, my character base concept is I can't believe he's not a vampire. Walking cliche on some level.
Still better vampires than Twilight.
So in general, just to kind of recap, so for myself, generally kind of like slice of life in medias res, interrupted by some kind of low stakes personal threat.
Like maybe
that's focused on role playing but has a bit of action.
I think so, yeah.
Like some faction might start cracking down, saying that we're a threat to the Masquerade, which
I don't know why, but
it's not going to nothing like super occult or magical or something like that gets really into like the kind of horrifically magical parts of being a vampire, but just like some kind of like mundane. It would be a mundane dispute if it weren't like vampires involved.
We ticked off the wrong people.
Yeah.
Could very well
so
be.
we're player characters.
Exactly. And you got to be like,
Yeah.
well, how are we going to get out of this one?
Like, I've probably got
It's
a few
terrible
gangs
for
that
us.
want me dead because I've healed people that they want dead.
It's terrible for us. Business is normal for most of the rest of the world.
All right. So
Mhm.
how about we start getting into character concepts and creation? And while we're doing that, just keep in mind, think about like, what's the kind of stuff you want to have happen in this game? What's it like? Powers you really want to make sure you get to use at least once. Scenes you really want to play out at least once, generally, that sort of thing. And trusting that I'm going to find a way to put a spin on it and surprise you with it. So, let's talk characters and concepts. I know some of you already have like stuff.
A hint of one.
Yeah, a hint of one pre-made. So,
Yeah.
any names like clans you're already sure you're going to take, something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going with Caitiff myself.
You're going to Caitiff.
Yeah.
You're,
I like
you're,
the
You're going
versatility.
to be clanless.
Yep.
Dr. Circe, Aislinn, Gangrel.
Could you spell that? Could you type that out in the tabletop chat for me? All right.
The I and the E swapped. Flipped.
Dr. Circe Aislinn?
Dr. Circe, Aislinn.
Circe Aislinn. All
I'm
right.
thinking Dr. Bright. No relation.
Got 2 doctors on this team. How can we go wrong?
Quite
We
easy.
might have gone to the same college.
Is Dr. Bright like your kind of like street name?
Yeah, because I'm
Can
full
I-
of bright ideas.
I want to at some point, not necessarily now, but I do want to like know what your original name was when you were a human.
I'll have to think of one,
All right.
but I can't use that name anymore because things went bad.
Because you're not bright.
I wasn't.
Da-da-da-da-da.
And Avis is a Gangrel. That's the animal clan sort of thing, right?
Yeah,
Dr. Circe, Aislinn, Gangrel. Is that Gangrel? I need to remember.
There's a drop down. Yeah, Gangrel.
Gangrel.
All right. So that's name and clan for 2 of you, at least. Although, that's true, that you don't have quite the same type of doctorate, though.
Yeah, one's a veteran, one's a surgeon, veterinarian.
I mean, they both operate on living things, so
You gotta get
Yeah.
it's different.
Different kinds of
entirely
Different
biology.
biologies.
Yeah, one's a doctorate in veterinary medicine. The other is a doctorate in internal medicine.
again, both operate on living things.
Like we said, different biologies.
Yeah, not necessarily not really cross-discipline sort of thing there, no.
Well,
No,
The closest
I'm-
things that they could operate on simultaneously is maybe
I'm trying to be
apes and
joking
pigs.
about it, but
Werewolves,
All right.
maybe.
Do we have any other I kind of want to start at like the concept level and like name and clan maybe before we start getting into like attributes and skills.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was still working on mine, and all I still have is the concept.
What is your concept?
I worded it differently, and then you said vampire Sojiro. Got it.
Oh,
And I was like,
right. Vampire Sojiro from Persona 5. So you run a coffee shop like in the dead of
Oh
night.
my gosh.
Just a crotchety, like he got turned into a vampire, much later than most people probably would have, late 40s, early 50s, and so he's kind of stuck that way.
So you are just like doing your own thing and being kind of a sore bastard about it.
Yeah, because it's like, God damn it, I'm stuck like this forever.
What I guess I'll open this up to the other players who've also read the book. Like, what kind of like clan would be good for that sort of like lifestyle?
I think my character concept, I mean, overall, the more I think about it, probably fits best into Venture.
Ventrue?
True.
Ventrue.
The clan of
Yes.
kings? The clan of
However-
self-important assholes?
Yes, exactly.
What is your character concept then?
Well, aside from the initial idea of, I'm thinking quite possibly some former, at least formerly from Russia, maybe someone who,
You really want to do a voice, don't you?
well, I mean, that's not connected with the whole Russian connection and the voice are totally coincidental, but more thinking about the idea that Russia's more north, and while cold, that means it's dark, like that period of darkness, and also the idea of a place like if he was part of if he were part of the former Soviet Union, maybe he had took advantage of like that with the people at the top, the people at the bottom, and there's a lot of fun to be had there. And even today, maybe depending on how it works out, maybe some kind of
See, the image I'm getting though from like the tone of the campaign we're setting is that this is like some like small town drama. So like your Russian prince would for some reason be in America
No, I can tone it. Maybe
he's on a vacation.
I'm saying that like that would be the inherent humor of that character concept in this.
Oh, well, maybe
just like you are this Russian prince who is so far from his heyday.
That would be a good way of doing it. Like
I used to be a prince. Now look at me.
Yes, he misses the Soviet Union. I mean, it was a terrible time for so many people. It was a terrible time, but not for him.
No, yeah, he was, especially if he was already turned and like rising in the ranks of Ventrue. But you must have had a fall from grace at some point, and you're just kind of
going
less a fall and more like a bullet train straight down.
Yes, going back to the classic quote, "My backstory is tragic, but not for me."
A prince from the yeah. Like when
the not
when
so fresh prince of the Soviet Union.
When the Soviet Union broke, that shattered the whatever Ventrue power structure was there, and you ended up having to flee, I guess.
Yes, yes, he very much misses the Soviet Union.
There is also the thing of prince being an actual term.
Oh yeah, prince is an actual term in this
Vampire.
setting. I'm not saying prince in the like vampire kindred term of like.
I mean, you could have been
a ruler. Actually, you could have been like a ruler of your own like little domain back in Russia, but
had a fall from grace.
Yes.
You're basically retired, and no one in the local area is going to like hand over anything to you. So you're just like, I guess I'm just here, and I have a name and a sweet, penthouse, but
he's retired, but not by choice, and he's just waiting for maybe.
Also,
something...
Din in the chat is pointing out like, you remember that Soviet Union came about by killing princes, right? I'm not meaning prince literally. I'm meaning like sort of like the bourgeois sort of
the highborn blue blood
where people die because
depending on how far back it goes, vampire, faking death, multiple lives.
Well, if we can't go too far back, because then you would be a much lower generation vampire and be much more powerful than the rest of the party.
Yeah, like I'm saying, depending on how far back it goes, but
yeah, I don't mean like actual like royalty prince, because that wasn't the Soviet Union's jam. But
no, we can look at that when we do the. I mean, the character concept is there, the basic direction.
When did the Soviet Union break up?
91-ish, maybe 92.
Okay.
I'm saying like
80s, early 90s.
At one point, Jawa's character was king shit of bourgeoisie mountain.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the see a time section of character creation. So like if we're going with that, then it would probably be like a neonates campaign.
Late 80s, early 90s. So within the last 40 years.
Yeah, it's like 1940 to a decade ago.
Stop it.
Is when we were embraced.
So no one was anyone thinking of like doing like a really fresh faced what would be the term? Youngling? No.
Childer.
A freshly sired vampire.
Yeah.
Childer or fledgling.
Fledgling. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, my concept, it was kind of an adult in the 80s, so I think she'd still be kind of in the same realm as Jawa's character.
I was thinking fairly, like, pretty recently, but I could also do a decade ago.
All right, so I think that sounds pretty good. As far as like everyone has been a vampire for at least around a decade, I think.
We've been a vampire for a hot minute.
Yeah. Being a vampire is not new to you in any way. And you've all kind of established yourselves and found your own ways to cope and maintain the masquerade. Oh, and I'm kind of making it so that everyone knows what the masquerade is. Anyone have any questions about that?
Try not to let the world know you're a vampire.
If mortals know about vampires, then they will hunt down vampires and kill them. And despite vampires being much more powerful than humans, humans far outnumber vampires. So humanity would win that battle. Is what the elders think.
Yeah, if you were an actual like Russian prince, you would have to have been like in before the 20s. So as the chat is helpfully researching, because the Soviet Union...
collective research.
Thank you for being our monkeys with typewriters.
So I'm gonna say generally that most of you are probably 12th or 13th generation, depending on just sort of how recently you became a vampire. Like if you were embraced before the turn of the millennium, probably 12th. If you were embraced after, probably 13th.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's starting to get a picture of how this is going. So Space Jawa is going to play a Ventrue from Russia, who has fallen on hard times, which is fun for like the scale of the campaign we're going to play, I think.
It's like if it were like 10, 20 years ago, he might be high rolling or something, but or maybe not even. Maybe even
he might still have like a bit of like wealth and status, because Ventrue is not really going to let go of that, and they're going to naturally like be a boss of something or try.
But something happened back in his old domain that he had to leave.
Yeah.
And people over here don't really recognize him as much.
Nah. Although, I mean, unless you like put like points into fame or something like that.
Yeah.
You can decide that how much people know your public persona.
Yeah, he's a guy in exile for one reason or another.
I guess I have this image of you guys being like a small town, not like a big city.
Mm-hmm. Suburbia.
You're playing in Night Vale.
Honestly,
I don't know if I could handle Night Vale, honestly.
I feel like we'd be too normal for Night Vale.
Yeah, no, this is far more normal than Night Vale.
Even Night Vale can't handle Night Vale, as I've been re-binging it for like the past month and a half.
See, I have no familiarity with that beyond the name, so that joke went completely over my head.
It's a highly surreal, kind of horrific radio show.
It's a funny ass podcast. Listen to it. It's funny.
It's darkly hilarious in a very different way than we're aiming for.
It's a radio show where the entire small town is
Going through some weird
cult.
stuff, but they say it normally in a just like
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. A
Everything
black hole
is
opens, over I-7, so you gotta watch out for that.
So like evil Lake Wobegon.
So there's this god that's essentially deraveling the universe, but on the other hand, it's a beautiful day.
Our autumns are lovely.
Also, there's a dog park that you're not allowed to go into. You do not acknowledge it. All hell will go cloud.
So I didn't want to cut in with my character concept before.
We're just on a Night Vale tangent. Please jump in.
Yeah. Well, I was before Oblivious because I think that you had asked a question of what clan I think would work good for
Yes.
Their character. So I don't know. I guess like it depends on how your character is. Like I'm looking at like it has like these like little like fast descriptions on each of the pages. So if your character is kind of like more hipstery, maybe Brujah. If they like are pretty or something, that would be like Torador. So I was just wondering, and you could also be clanless too, really. I think that those three were the ones that were popping out at me, but it would just depend on what type of character you wanted to play.
Well, actually, I was curious because I barely skimmed the book, but I don't remember anything from like I remember stuff that the for lack of a better word, legacy clans are like. I have vague familiarity of what they do, but I was trying to figure out like what would help him kind of be more blending in and normal, I guess, for lack of a better term.
I think really what you
want to be mundane.
You go ahead. Yeah.
Well, Toreador love to stand out, so probably not Toreador.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I saw like
they are thrill seekers.
Yes,
loud bastards.
Imagine trying to do thrill seeking in a quiet small town.
Oh god!
Just a Toreador that is like absolutely devoted to like latte art.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like Sajiro though.
No, not.
Sajiro's all about the perfect blend.
I think there was something in the companion book.
They did just release a companion with a couple more clans.
Yeah, like the Dragon Clan. It's Zamir or something. Samiz? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Samitsi?
Yeah.
I only know that one because I had to have that explained to me multiple times.
All right, let me take a look at that.
Their thing is they have a concept or something where that is their
possession.
Well, maybe not.
Possession. They're possessive.
Yeah,
they love to have and
if you're
hoard.
Selling coffee, then selling coffee would go against that. I was thinking more so based on the bane of that being that you need to be surrounded by the thing that you are possessive of.
No, essentially the idea was he because somebody brought it up in the chat and I like the idea more and more is that he started off just completely hating coffee. It's like what is this crap? Like why do people drink this? And like he just became more fascinated with it, and now he's just kind of powered by coffee and blood, obviously.
Coffee. Ugh, blood in your coffee. Ugh.
I actually know something about that, and I don't want to say anything more because I want Spud to keep his stomach where it is. So
I got a little squicked out just saying it. I'll admit that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he sounded pretty squicky about that, so I'll just keep it right there.
But it's funny to me also. I said that because it sounded funny.
Well, I mean, it's less funny to me because I am aware of people who do that. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't understand it.
Just mix in a little shot.
Yeah.
A little shot of blood in your morning coffee.
Beef blood specifically.
I
I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't talking.
That's
about
honestly not as bad as I expected.
No. I wasn't talking. I mean, I'm sure somebody does that. We thought of it, so it exists. I'm sure.
Like drinking steak juice.
Yeah, kind of. Hell's my okay. I'll just use a bead. That'll work.
So I can see Samichi working. In that you've kind of become like obsessively fascinated with like being the master of coffee.
Coffee mancer.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like not the physical coffee itself, but
I know
the concept of
I was just
being the best at making it,
but also having it, collecting it.
Yeah, but then the whole selling it bit doesn't quite work because you're giving other people your thing, which is very much against.
I'm sure he keeps the best stuff for himself, but
well, it could also be an idea of selling it to collect people's devotion to his coffee.
That then brings up a good point. We could just go for the pun route and just make you a Brujah.
God, I wasn't even thinking of that.
I was thinking that might be another decent clan because those are more of the like.
They're the rabble rousers.
Yeah,
They
give me the feeling
counterculture sort of guys.
If any clan was hipster, it would probably be them.
Oh yeah, the Brujah would absolutely go to their own turf coffee shop.
Yeah.
He's so hipster he doesn't want anything to do with the rabble rousing.
Yeah, Sojiro's like, if we're just doing Sojiro from Persona 5 but as a vampire, then he's like, he runs this coffee shop that like almost no one goes to.
Just a bunch of freaks and geeks in there.
And just, like really old patrons who go to this little coffee shop every weekend once, and that's like your only customer.
Maybe 5 people a day.
It's this a coffee shop where like most people don't go to it because they're like the coffee's got like this weird metallic taste, and I just I don't like it. You've got like a couple like normal weirdos that come in every once in a while, and then like nearly your entire clientele is like other kindred.
There's one person that goes there and just never gets coffee.
Not other kid. That's something very different.
He just goes in for the free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the person that just sits there on their computer.
Yeah. Like that.
We'll just like get a glass of water.
Avis feeling called out.
Listen, I go into Starbucks. I don't buy anything. I use their Wi-Fi.
I mean, if I go to
their bathroom.
If I go into a place, I'm gonna give them some business, but that's why I always pick one that's like, okay, this is a place that I actually like.
I get a water bottle.
I mean, that is still patronage.
It is, because I don't like their coffee at all.
I don't like coffee, period. That's the real irony here.
Yep.
I think we could make a case for Samichi, Brujah, but like not like kind of striking out on their own domain, Brujah, or Caitiff.
Now, what does the Caitiff do?
The Caitiff are clanless. They have no clan bane, no clan specialty. They have not inherited like the special vampire clan blood that defines so many other political groups.
Oh yeah, that's right. What is the Brujah specialty anyway?
Good question.
They're like, are you talking disciplines or just like
discipline specifically? But like, I want to know what they can.
Celerity, potence, and presence, which is basically supernatural speed, supernatural strength, and
presence.
Presence being like you're like accepted and adored wherever you go. Like people look at you and you're like, wow.
Or they fear you.
Yeah, because I know celerity is your.
But in this case, win the hearts of the crowd, turn a threatening mob against itself, send a dangerous opponent fleeing into the night. Yeah.
You can
That's what it
be
says on the,
incredibly charming or intimidating
thing.
if you want to be. Just
Yeah.
on how you look.
I mean, maybe he is that way, but only uses it to get more customers. Just this really small level application of it.
Yeah, like you'd be one of the more like, because the Brujah, I think they have 2 types. They've got the what was it?
The rabble rousers. And...
You're the barista and the bouncer.
The yeah, the intellectuals and the other ones.
Like,
And you'd
yeah,
be
like
the intellectual.
you are this old man, but you're also a vampire, which means you can mess somebody up if they cross you or annoy you.
Yeah, the philosophical Brujah, known as the Helens or Hellenis. But yeah, the punks and the thinkers. Fighters and
he
thinkers.
definitely strikes me as more of a thinker.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brujah might be a good fit, but it's up to you.
Yeah, because you said it was celerity, presence. What was the third one? I missed that.
Potence, which is the strength. You get to pick 2 of those. You put 2 dots in one of them and 1 dot in the other, and the third. Basically, these are your choices.
And Caitiff, they don't have any select disciplines, so you can choose any of them
from the whole list.
That is very appealing, but I'm sure there's a downside to that.
Yeah, leveling up, like with regular clans, if you have your clan-based disciplines, you can put a dot into them for 5 times the next level, or any other one for 7 times the next level. But for Caitiff, it's any of them for 6 times the level.
Yeah, that adds
experience points.
Well, I don't expect that we're going to be getting like a lot of experience.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Although, actually,
we do get 15 for being neonates.
Yeah, because we have decided that we're doing a neonates campaign because you've all been vampires for at least 10 years. I am going to give you guys 15 experience points to allocate and spend as you choose, because I figure we might as well play with that a bit.
Yeah, that does sound fun.
But yes, Caitiff is, you can pick anything, but it costs a little bit more.
And their bane is, you don't have any of the common banes, but you do start with the suspect flaw. And
people are just generally suspicious of you.
Yeah, you get a dice penalty on social tests against fellow kindred.
Yeah, other kindred are like, I don't know who you belong to. Like, I barely even know who sired you. I don't know if I can trust you at your word, because you don't have any other, like, the support network that'll punish you if you do us wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Brujah, puns be damned.
I like it. I like Sojiro the Brujah a lot.
I mean, I'm not going to call him Sojiro.
No.
But
I'm just going to mark you down as Brujah.
I will ask, because I'm thinking of a name and nothing's coming to me. I'm sure it's going to hit me when I least expect it.
It's tough.
Everyone just calls him Gramps.
So that leaves, at least as far as clans go, Vermin.
Okay, so for my character, I was thinking she'd be Tremere. Silvia Lane was the name that I've come up with. She's like a writer for... I was thinking it was actually more for like an online blog, but she's like the horoscope type writer. Yeah, so she like does all this writing on horoscopes and astrology and all sorts of stuff, and I feel like most of what she writes is really just made up.
But there's some stuff with some truth to it.
Yeah, and I think that like that allows her to just kind of have success in writing such a like niche thing, enough that like that's her job.
You write it very convincingly.
Yes.
You write about horoscopes in a way that other people are like, wow, that sounds correct. Sure, I'll follow that. I'll follow that feed.
Right, and then so when it comes down to things like blood magic and all of that, like her looking at things in public isn't all that weird when she can just be like, oh, I'm a horoscope writer.
I'm sure that like you've got Well, okay. The thing is, something I should actually bring up now, is that, in 5th edition, the sort of the meta plot, there's something happening called the Second Inquisition, which is that, the Masquerade has been broken somewhat, and some, intelligence agencies in the world have discovered the existence of what they bureaucratically call blank bodies. But it's not public knowledge because, frankly, like, the NSA doesn't know who in Congress might be, like, a blood slave of a very ancient vampire, so they keep it very, very close to the chest.
Mhm.
Because you kind of have to.
And because of the way the Second Inquisition came about, which was basically someone tipped off an intelligence agency through digital means, the Camarilla, like one of the major long-running sort of governmental bodies of the vampires, sort of factional
vampires.
Yeah, one of the established factions of vampire society. They decided no technology. We're not doing that anymore. It's just straight up written messages with couriers that are bound by blood. But you could, instead of being if you were in a Camarilla domain, you'd have to be very careful about your blogging habit because they wouldn't want you to be using computers at all. But we could also say you're in an Anarch domain, which are generally not as consistent, but a lot more like free about that sort of thing.
Yeah, like, and the Camarilla would probably be a lot more against me than the Anarchs. But yeah.
Well, the Anarchs, kind of a free association movement that also, like, a bunch of various like vampire gangs that all decided, especially on the West Coast, that all just kind of decided, hey, we're gonna not fight each other and defend ourselves against Camarilla incursion. Great. There used to be like some interplay between the Anarchs and the Camarilla, but once the Second Inquisition started rolling, the Camarilla just kicked them all out. That's how I understand the meta plot, but feel free to correct me.
Insert a gif of Jazzy Jeff being thrown out the door.
So we're going to say this is a small town, kind of Western America, that is primarily an Anarch domain.
Okay.
With an Anarch prince or something that... Yeah, just kind of like a small town.
They could also just not have a prince. That is another option.
That is true. It might be like there's like a prince in like the big city that you're nearby, but like, and they have representatives here, but there's not a whole lot of vampires in this area, so it's just like,
it's like, it's a small town. Who cares?
If don't cause any trouble, we're going to come down here, kind of thing. And then you cause trouble, and
thus the campaign begins.
We did an oopsie.
So yeah, you guys are, as long as you remain like trustworthy, you're kind of like free to do what you want, and stuff like that. But also because it's a small town, like, you're kind of known. People know you. Well, it might not be that small of a town because Jawa's character is there.
Well, like small town in the scope of Vampire the Masquerade.
Most people on the up and up wouldn't know me. But
small town in the sense that I am the only vet clinic in the next 50
you
miles,
have the one.
I live in my clinic. I live in the upstairs of my clinic. Please.
Yeah, one veterinary office, like one of like 3 coffee shops, and the only one that's open 24, open at night, all night.
Yeah. I have like 3 techs. One's in the day, one's in the afternoon, one's in the evening. If they need me, they go upstairs.
Where you'll probably be asleep.
Probably.
Dead to the world, even.
What's a sleep schedule? I don't know her.
The smaller the town, the more humorous all these vampires being there is.
Yeah, it's not really like a vampire stronghold. for the Anarchs or Camarilla, but you're close enough to an Anarch city that like you don't really see a lot of like the political action, and you don't have anything that like your enemies like the Sabbat or the Camarilla would really want. So it's like and you've been vampires for a while, so this is kind of like a vacation home for you guys, or like this is like retirement zone.
If
got a
trouble
nice
happens-
calm domain where you feed, no one really dies or goes missing, and no one's really frenzied in, you know, at least 5 years. It's been good. Living the good life out here.
Until now.
If trouble happens, it's because we brought it upon ourselves.
Might very well be. I'm sure there'll be some kind of inciting incident, and then which you then magnify and spiral out of control.
We are the vampire PCs that are holding the magnifying glass up to the
Not to the sun. You're not doing that to the sun. You will burn.
No, it's a lamp.
A lamp, yes.
Is that a fire that needs putting out? Here, let me try using this gasoline.
Exactly.
Anyone have any suggestions for names for Oblivious and Jawa's characters?
Let me get my 20 million names generator up.
Feel free to use generators.
I've got a potential name, but I don't know if it's like...
If it's what, authentic?
No, not authentic, like too... Well, let me... Here,
Like offensive?
No.
Well, you already
the
said
nose?
Russian, so it's gotta be Russian.
Vlad
Smirnov.
Yeah.
we don't know if it's authentic Russian.
Vladimir Smirnov.
That sounds so fake. That has to be like everyone thinks that it's
That is absolutely a fake name, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that being your new name, your mask name.
Vodka Drunkinsky. that
But
was an
I think
actual thing.
maybe you would have. I think being a Ventrue, you probably have a bit more pride than that. You'd want a name that makes you sound big and important, not be like a joke.
Timofey.
That is
So
a good point.
somebody can call him that fake name when they want to.
Yeah, people
Rub it in
would
the
call
face.
you Smirnov as like a insult to your back, never to your face.
Evelyn, stop it.
I'm liking this. This is coming together in a really fun way.
Oh yeah.
Cazimer Timofey.
Beg pardon. I have no idea what you said, Avis.
Cazimer Timofey. Cazimer sounds pretty good for like a... Okay, I play fake Grand Order, says Din, and that name is on par with an actual fake name used by character, Scandinavia Peperoncino.
I love fate names.
Oh, that was good.
Wow.
I do like Casimir as a first name. I don't know about the last name.
I don't know. I'm just lucky. There's like a lot of names here. But
Wait, was that a name you were suggesting to me?
No,
No.
suggesting for Jawa.
Searching it for Jawa. I'm on my Russian page.
I was like, I don't remember asking for a Russian name.
Well, good because you're not getting one.
Yeah, I was like, where did that come from?
Make it a palindrome, Casimir Remizak.
No.
I don't know. That sounds kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
How am I spelling that?
I'm okay with like you picking like a fake identity, but I do kind of want to know like who you were in life as a human as well, and when you got embraced.
Because I'm trying to think of a name for that.
Oh, I like that one, Grigori.
Grigori?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Actually-
a
yeah.
name that's got some oomph to it.
Yeah, it's got some oomph.
Cazimer Grigori.
Grigori something.
Casimir
Casimir
Grigori.
Grigori?
Hey.
That's kind of like naming yourself like Johnson John, though.
I mean, they do.
I
I mean,
Please.
That's
Oh,
calling
I thought
yourself
the
like...
Grigori was-
Ryan George.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was meant to be a last name.
No, I was
I'm-
doing the last name.
Oh, that is the last name.
That was. I
I
could go through
guess
another.
like Mr. Grigori also like has some oomph to it though.
Yeah, it kind of does. Oh, thank God it's finally over.
Yeah, see,
I'd forgotten how long
Do you
the
like
Teddy
that?
fight
Do you like
was.
that name, Jawa?
well, just Mr. Grigori.
Well,
Or
I still need a
doesn't-
first name, but
Okay.
No, I mean Grigori. I like the sound of it.
what about your first name though?
Bless me.
I mean, I can go with that. Kazimer Grigori.
All right.
Or what? Yeah.
What happened to the last name? Oh, there's the surname site. Yes.
Could be called Mr. Grigori because no one can pronounce his last name. That's true.
There's the Russian.
Yes, as a working title for me for now.
Hold on. Let's see. That is disappointing.
So what about Oblivious's coffee Brujah? Anything but Sojiro.
Yeah. For copyright reasons, because I'd hate for Spud to get copyright copy stricken.
I'm not big enough for Atlas to come after me directly.
You never know.
If anything, I'm gonna get flagged by a music company for something that doesn't exist in the video. That's far more
Someone will
likely
like
to happen.
hum
just
something. And
some like accidental series of tones trips a content ID somehow.
Yeah, that actually does happen pretty frequently.
Yeah, far more likely.
But yes, names.
Just to kind of like, I was considering moving on, but like this is kind of important to be like, kind of starting to set an identity for the character moving forward.
Yeah, that's because I was hoping I'd accidentally stumble across a name by now, but I haven't. But now that I've killed the Shadow Tenny, I can finally start looking myself.
Now I can focus.
Yes.
Atlas.
I was very disappointed when I put hipster name generator and the one that actually existed. Their domain name expired. It's like, please buy this domain. It's like
it's hipsternamegenerator.com.
I mean, you joke about that, but it's literally called hipsterbusiness.name.
Could be name him Atlas just with an A.
But I don't hate Atlas enough to do that. Let's see.
I mean, we got like a Sylvia Lane, a Dr. Bright, a Dr. Circe, a Mr. Grigori. You could
Dr.
just have like the
Java.
most normal sounding name.
No, I'm not going with that. Just forget I said anything.
just like Chris.
Actually, I'm curious. What is the
Steve. The word coffee entered the English language in 1582 via the Dutch koffie, borrowed from the Ottoman Turkish kafi, borrowed in turn from the Arabic kawa. The Arabic word kawa was traditionally held to refer to a type of wine whose etymology is given by Arab lexicographers as deriving from the verb kaya, or to lack hunger, in reference to the drink's reputation as an appetite suppressant. Thank you, Din. Thank you, Wikipedia. Carter. Ooh, I like Carter.
is it better as a first or last name?
Either way.
Yes.
Last
How
name.
do you feel
usually.
about how do you feel about Sebastian Carter?
Ew.
Yeah, not great after saying it out loud.
It's like you almost had it.
Sebastian's pretty good. Carter's pretty good. Not together.
Yeah.
It does sound weird together.
Heck. What was that?
After this, I promise we'll get into some crunchy numbers stuff. So,
Yay.
Cedric Carter.
yeah. CC.
I'm not a pizza joint.
Gabriel Carter.
Gabriel Carter sounds pretty good, honestly.
Stowe.
What?
What?
Stowe. One of my coworkers' son's name, Stowe.
Stowe?
Like,
Stowe Carter. Stowe.
As in STOWE, or?
Yes.
Like stow it.
That's an odd name. Yeah, I think I'll go with Gabriel Carter.
Gabriel Carter,
All right.
the coffee Brujah. All right. And, like, if you want to, like, make tweaks to this later, I'm not going to, like, hold you to it.
Colton's a good one, Din. Colton's a good one, but...
Not Cater, Carter.
Cater. The caterer.
He caters, but his name is Carter.
Cater!
So we have a Tremere named Silvia Lane. We have a Caitiff named Dr. Bright. That's his street name. We have a
No
Brujah. No. Relation to what?
To Dr.
Right
Bright.
ops.
There is a Dr. Bright in SCP, and I'm losing my mind.
Oh, I
Sure.
don't.
No
I have-
relation.
I have no awareness of
It's fine.
SCP, so you
That's
guys get to
fine.
have fun with that on your own.
It's fine.
There's-
You
I mean,
need to
there's-
turn your head into it.
No,
Or-
no,
As I said, no relation.
Or
no,
at least into the video of 500 things Dr. Bright is not allowed to do.
I thought you were making a reference to Bright Ops.
No.
Brujah named Gabriel Carter, also a vamp named for an angel. Very good. A Gangrel by the name of Dr. Circe Aislinn. Am I saying Circe right? Or
Circe?
Circe?
Yes.
Circe. Okay. Thank you. And then a Ventrue named Kazimer Grigori. Quite the group.
A very
There's no
eclectic
possible
group
way
that's
this group could possibly get into trouble.
No, never.
I am innocent of all wrongdoing at all times. Don't know what you're talking about.
Circe did nothing wrong.
Circe does nothing wrong. She does her job.
All right. So let's talk about your attributes. We have the physical attributes, strength, dexterity, stamina, the social attributes, charisma, manipulation, and composure, and the mental attributes of intelligence, wits, and resolve. The spread for everyone is that your best attribute gets 4 dots, your worst attribute gets 1 dot, and then you have 3 at 3 dots and 4 at 2 dots. So 1 at 4, 3 at 3, 4 at 2, 1 at 1. And that'll cover all 9 of your attributes. So, Vermin, what would be Silvia's best attribute?
Okay, so I was just trying to double check. What's the real difference between, I guess, wits and intelligence? I think it's probably
I think intelligence is more like book learning, and wits is quick thinking. I think. Let me actually just take a look at the core traits.
Wits are for thinking quickly and reacting correctly on little information. You hear a sound is wits. You hear 2 guards coming is intelligence.
Yeah, intelligence is problem solving, where you have information and clues. Wits is something happens and you react to it.
I think wits probably more than intelligence. Yeah.
Intelligence measures your ability to reason, research, and apply logic. You can recall and analyze information from books or your senses. No puzzle or mystery can elude the truly intelligent. Wits are for thinking quickly and reacting correctly on little information.
I just read that, yes.
Yeah. Wits let you smell an ambush or answer the harpy back at court right away instead of thinking of the best response the next night.
Okay, I've got the core traits up now. So yeah, I think wits is probably...
What page is it on?
155.
I was at
155.
155.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have like a contents side tab, it's under characters.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going by page numbers in the table of contents.
Yeah.
Remember,
Okay, so that
we're
was-
all new.
That was strongest, so that was 4.
So what would be your weakest stat?
I'm thinking probably strength.
Same.
Even if you have like 1 dot in strength, you can easily like
You can easily crush a beer can.
Crush a beer can and lift and throw like 20 kilograms. Like you're still pretty strong.
You can deadlift a Christmas tree or a stop sign. 20
Yeah,
kilograms.
I think probably strength.
Also, I just envisioned the campaign as the vampire version of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's kind of what we're approaching, it feels like. Just like without the road trip.
Well, no, Christmas Vacation.
Oh, Christmas Vacation.
The one where they they
We
put out the entire.
We could make it Christmas themed. It'll be January by the time we actually start this, though.
That's fine, close enough. People start celebrating Christmas before Thanksgiving shows up. Who cares? Oh, I need a drink.
Okay, so that was that was a 1, right?
Yeah, 1 dot.
Yeah.
In
And then
strength.
what were the others?
You get 3 attributes with 3 dots and 4 attributes with 2 dots. So distribute those as pick 3 skills that are your next best, and then fill the rest with 2.
Okay, and then everything else is 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And
This thing is not opening. I'm gonna have to find it. Let's see.
And as it says in here, most people get by perfectly well with a 2 in their main skill. Like
Yeah,
3 is
what this
significant
represents,
experience.
a couple
4
of
is expert level.
a couple of attributes determine like how much like health and willpower you have, but for the most part what this means is how many dice you add to a roll when it's time to do a skill check.
Yeah.
And
So if you had
usually,
pure strength and you have 1, it'd be just 1 die in the pool. Or 2 if it's strength plus strength.
yeah, generally most
is how
skill
that
checks
works
will ask for a attribute and a skill.
Right.
And I'm kind of walking through with Vermi here, but everyone else should also be doing this looking at their attributes in this way too.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide whether I want to make charisma or manipulation my top skill.
I finished.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
you're good, Avis.
Yeah, I did that I think last night at like midnight.
All right.
I mean,
Jawa,
possibly wits, but
your tops. If you're thinking about like manipulation versus charisma, charisma would be kind of your natural charm, and manipulation would be your ability to actually like twist others to think the way you want them to. And I could argue both for you. They're both generally pretty important skills for a Ventrue.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh wow, I misread that horribly.
I'm feeling like, given the backstory, maybe manipulation, because that might fit. I mean, because with charisma, that would make such a downfall sound less. The manipulate. I mean, going with manipulation sounds like would fit more in with the downfall aspect.
Yeah, your con finally blew up in your face. You weren't entirely well liked after that.
Your house of cards fell.
But you could still have charisma as a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I'm seeing charisma probably definitely one of the 3 skills.
Like for me, my highest stat is composure, and then my 3 are resolve, intelligence, and dexterity, because all that stuff is pretty much necessary for my chosen occupation. And then wits, charisma, manipulation, stamina at 2, and strength at 1.
My highest is intelligence, and then my 3 are strength, stamina, and composure, and then dexterity, charisma, wits, and resolve, and my lowest is manipulation.
Outstanding. Anyone else still need to decide their attributes?
Well, because I was listening to how everybody was building
I'm-
stuff to figure out
Okay.
how I did mine.
Yeah, I'm still probably go with intelligence as wits as my other 2-3 skills. That's probably
Okay. My 3 skills, I chose intelligence, charisma, and manipulation.
Okay.
Also, I'm still wrapping my brain around it because it's been so long since I did character creation for this that it's not coming to me like it should.
Well, what would be your best skill? Set that to 4. Your best attribute, I mean.
Out of
physical,
core
social,
traits.
and, intelligence.
No, out of all 9 of them.
Out of all 9.
Bless you.
Considering
that is
all the attributes as a whole.
Yeah. Because there's...
I feel like we got a lot of like mentally minded people here. You might be like the person who can actually kick ass.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Because it would be extremely funny. That's like, oh, it gives whole new meaning to old man strength.
Yeah, especially because you're like in your late 40s.
Yeah, why not? Well, I'll make that my best strength.
If you're a straight talker, you could probably put manipulation at 1.
Yeah, what would be your worst skill out of all this?
Worst skill.
Or not skill, but attribute.
Yeah.
I'm going to mix up words all the time.
No. I was mixing it up too. I was like, well, wait, which is it again? Because he's a fairly straight talker. It's like, hey, you like my place or you don't, stay or get out. He's not terribly manipulative. So yeah, strength is best. Manipulation is worse. Like his wits are probably okay, but
yeah, he probably has a good like intuitive sense.
I mean, I'm sure he could be manipulative if he wanted to be, but it's like, why bother? I can punch a hole through a truck.
Now, does he use that strength like whenever someone pisses him off, or can he hold himself back a bit more?
Oh, I'm sure he can hold himself back. Like he's not trying to make a mess of everything. Like it's his place. Both the town and where he lives, but no need to cause more rumors than he needs to.
Yeah, so probably like a 2 or 3 in composure.
Yeah. I need to write this down somewhere.
You should probably be writing down your character details, yes.
Yeah, should I repaste that PDF sheet?
Yeah, if you don't mind, actually, because I lost the place. Is it going to be in tabletop or
tabletop roleplay?
Yeah, tabletop.
Perfect. I'm going to use that.
And just click Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, and it'll give you more options.
Yep. Vampire. Let's see. 5th edition. You picked the top one, the 2-page one.
Yeah, 2-page or 4-page, either works. The first page is the same on both of them.
Just save link as, and it'll pull up the thing. Oh yeah, there it is.
So your top skill strength.
Lowest scores manipulation.
Okay, here we go. There's the dots right here.
Is that what you decided, or?
Yeah,
I think so.
So what you said 4 dots in strength, or?
Yeah, 4 dots in strength. 1 dot in, I guess you said manipulation, and then your 3 next best skills get 3 dots, and the rest get 2.
Okay, so let's see. Composure at 3. Freaking.
Okay.
See, right now I just have this image in my head is like, well, why don't you have a thing to grind your beans? Oh, I can do that with my hands.
Just hold a handful of beans, just slowly crush them in your fingers. You need machines to get it that fine, though, that fine blend.
Yeah. Let's see. How many skills get 2 and how many skills get 3?
3 at 3, 4 at 2.
4 2. Okay.
And everyone else is done with attributes?
Yes.
Just want to make sure we're all on the same page before we move on.
He's reasonably intelligent. His better wits, though. You said 2 at 3, right?
3 at 3.
3 at 3.
Oh, 3 at 3. Okay.
So you could have wits at 3 and 2 others.
Yeah, because composure was going to be one of them.
Right. Yeah. So wits and composure, and then yeah.
See, and 2 in charisma and 2 in. Perfect.
All good?
Yeah.
All right.
Alright.
So before we before we go to skills, your health and willpower are trackers with a maximum rating, and you kind of mark them down as you take damage from the top, or spend them in some cases. So your maximum health is going to be your stamina plus 3, and your maximum willpower is going to be your composure plus resolve.
Oh, wow, I picked great stats to put 3 dots in.
Yeah.
That was entirely by accident.
I got 6 and 5.
I've got 5 and 7.
Got 5 and 4.
6 and 6 for me.
Not shabby. Good, kind of beefy squad here.
Right.
Yeah, let me. I'm just one moment. Willpower,
Composure plus resolve equals willpower.
Yeah, I've got 5 health and 4 willpower.
Yeah, that tracks. So yeah, just it'll be a tracker of squares, just kind of like block out the ones that you don't need and keep the rest. And be ready to like mark those as you. There's superficial damage to both tracks, and there's also aggravated damage to both tracks.
Yeah, aggravated damage is when you get hit with like fire or so.
Yeah, anything that like would be dangerous to an actual vampire.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, silver doesn't actually affect vampires at all, but it affects werewolves.
Well, there's actually a fun like edge case when it comes to like, crosses and running water and garlic. Like if people were turned into vampires, like fervently believing that, those affect them that badly.
Oh wow!
And also like people who like carry the power of true faith, holding their holy symbol, doesn't even have to be a cross or anything. Just some kind of holy symbol, the Star of David, something like that. They can repel vampires if their faith is strong enough.
Oh,
whatever they believe in. All right, so that's attributes, health and willpower, and skills are a lot. So disciplines. Those of you who have your clan, you've got your 3 disciplines to choose from. Pick 2 of them, put 2 dots in one and 1 dot in the other, and those will determine like what discipline powers you have, what level.
You can have as many powers as you have dots.
Yeah. So for instance,
like I've got mine already, so I can use those as a example.
Sure, yeah.
Like I've got presence at 2 and fortitude at 1. So in presence, I took the 2 first level skills or first level
Dots.
whatever. Yeah, instead of taking 1 first and 1 second level. So I've got awe and daunt. And for fortitude, I've got the first level 1 unswayable mind. So yeah, I can be very charming, intimidating, and I am more difficult to what's the word I'm looking for? Scroll down a bit.
Oh god, that one's terrifying.
What is?
Yeah, more difficult to sway.
Oh,
You-
I'm
dominate.
looking at stuff for protein, and it's vicissitude. The vampire reshapes one's own skin, muscles, and bone at will.
Shape shifting.
What page does this start on?
Discipline starts on 243.
if I remember correctly, the Gangrel have primal strength. So
I think they have. I think theirs are animalism,
They're
protein,
animalism,
and
protein and fortitude.
not protein, protean.
Protein.
Protein.
You know what?
No. She's completely yoked, just all protein shakes every day. I don't think that's how that works for vampires. It's virulent blood is the Chronicle, right?
Yeah, the blood virulent, yes. Because I have to be gothic and fancy.
Only I knew how to spell that.
Virulent.
It's like,
if you go to stream adverts, it's the most recent thing. The blood virulent.
fair enough.
Virulent.
I'm not narcissistic enough to watch my own stream.
Just gonna
See.
copy paste that.
Oh, Brujah has okay. There's a J in there. Got it.
Yeah.
See, I'm also looking at these powers in the sense of what is beneficial to her job.
That's a good way to guide it, really. You're not really fighting vampire, so you're like, what can I use for my own sake?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's animalism and protein and
Protein.
You know what? I'm gonna mispronounce it every single time. I will assure you. But now I'm trying to decide which one has powers that are better at level 1 and level 2.
You're also going to get some experience which you can purchase dots in disciplines with. Well, I think you could purchase like 1 level 3 or 1 level 2. Or just
I think having animalism at level 2 would be useful because you can get feral whispers,
Yeah.
which lets you actually communicate with animals.
You can talk.
So you said we pick.
Animals.
Yeah, but then also I can extend my natural weapons to mantras proportion.
Ambition, the perfect cup of coffee.
So yeah, you put 2 dots into one of your 3 disciplines, and therefore you get 2 powers for that discipline. And then you put 1 dot into a different discipline in your range, and therefore 1 power from that discipline at level 1. Disciplines have a list of powers at different levels, Whenever you gain a dot in a discipline, you can select a new power as long as you have enough dots that you're at that level.
Man, I cannot spell for shit today.
That's fine.
What's spelling?
The thing where you get words right.
No, that's
So yeah, for
Think that-
Ventrue, your disciplines: Dominate, which is the mind control discipline; Fortitude, which is the resistant, like damage resistance discipline; and Presence, which is the like
Social thing. Like
aura
Bob
of social domination discipline.
Yeah.
you must drink this coffee. You must.
It's like dominate, but they still have free will.
They're just very heavily influenced.
Yeah. Because dominate just makes them puppets.
Yeah.
Dominate,
I'm-
you snap your fingers
Right.
and you do this, please.
You will drink
Yeah.
this coffee.
Yeah, dominate and presence are probably the two I'm going for. I'm trying to pick out which of those skills I want.
Witch powers.
Right.
Which witch powers?
Speaking of witch powers, I guess on mine, I went with 2 into Auspex and 1 into blood sorcery.
Nice.
I thought you would have done it the other way around. You must have Auspex power you want.
Well, I just thought it was the character more.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you being all about like horoscopes and sort of like the unseen. Yeah. Premonition, sense the unseen, heightened senses, that sort of thing. Yeah. You've probably done at least a couple of paranormal investigations. Silvia.
I'm sure. I guess that they when they hire like a psychic to come and look at like a ghost or something or cleanse a place. I'm sure she isn't above like gaining some extra money doing that, and then she can write books about it.
Or, you know, it's just for like a boon for another kindred.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, like vampires don't really trade so much in money as much as boons, which is, you know, a favor for a favor.
Right.
You know, if you owe someone a boon and they call on you, you got to answer. But if you do someone a favor, they owe you a boon.
Right.
So you could have been like, hey, I know a thing or two about supernatural and ghosts and whatnot. I'll help you out. You owe me a little bit. Call on that later.
Pulling that up. Yeah, I think there's that, and then let's see, what does level 2 at Auspex have?
Level 2 for
The
Auspex.
premonition thing.
Yeah.
Where did the other thing go?
Ooh, I definitely. If you're taking premonition, definitely let me know, because that's sort of thing where it's like, whenever the storyteller deems it appropriate, I just give you a vision. That's a hint or a clue.
I'm probably taking it, so.
All right.
You mean me when we did that the myths of Theros?
Oh yeah, the Mythic Odyssey of Theros.
me Oracle Medusae.
Anyone having questions or issues with picking out their discipline and powers?
Not yet, but I was about to pour my drink and double check my clan stuff.
Eyes of the Beast.
Okay. Go. Sadly, we were out of gin, so I went with more caffeine.
So I think I'm taking awe in presence, and then cloud memory and mesmerize in dominate.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Let's see. Disciplines. What page is that on?
Disciplines are on page 243 is when they start.
243.
And for Brujah, it's celerity, potence, and presence.
You said 240 what?
Celerity is 252. That's going to be the highest one up there.
252.
On my PDF thing, it's actually 254, but the page number at the bottom says 252.
Yeah, unnatural speed. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 dots in one.
And then there was also
one
potence
dot in
and
another,
presence.
and 1 power per dot.
Let's see.
While Oblivious is working on that, let's make sure we note down your Banes as well. Your clan Banes. For the Caitiff, when it comes time to pick advantages and flaws, you have to take that social flaw. What was it?
Suspect.
Suspect. Yeah. And you cannot purchase positive status for you during character creation. I don't know if we're using that so much, and I can always impose a 1 or 2 dice penalty on social tests if you're dealing with fellow kindred who knows you're a Caitiff.
Yep. That and the buying discipline powers.
That is also true.
At 6 times the level.
Yep.
I'm trying to understand what this says.
So, for Tremere, for Vermin, your Bane is you can't blood bond other kindred, though you yourself can be blood bound by kindred from other clans. You can still bind mortals and ghouls, but they have to drink more blood to for the bond to form.
Okay.
Yeah, your blood is
kind of
your blood is kind of weakened as far as that aspect is concerned.
Specs.
Okay, got that listed.
Do you have a compulsion? Doesn't look like you do.
Drink incessantly.
All right. For the Brujah, I'll save you for last since you're still working on disciplines. For the Gangrel, your clan Bane, whenever you frenzy, you gain 1 or more animal features. You know, a physical trait, a smell, or some kind of behavior. And they linger for they last for at least 1 more night after, like a hangover.
Oh dear.
Each feature you gain from that reduces 1 attribute by 1 point. You know, charisma or resolve or intelligence, manipulation, anything, just drops that.
Yup. I just haven't fully decided an animal theme I want to run around with. Because clearly the most important thing is aesthetic.
That's true. And for the Ventrue, your clan bane, you have a strict palate of the blood you drink. You have a preferred source of blood. You know, a certain type of person that you prefer above all else to drink from. So you'll need, and if you if you have to drink outside of your preference, you have to really force yourself to keep it down. You have to spend willpower points to not vomit it back up because your tastes are just that high class.
Ah, I see what they mean by powers per dots. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, you get to pick X number of powers up to level X.
Yes. Because I've got potence and presence and what the hell was the third one? A celerity.
And which two of those are you going with?
I was thinking of going with potence and celerity.
Okay.
Strength and speed.
Just because I like the idea of it's like, well, what can this man do? Doesn't insane leaps tall buildings in a single bound.
Yeah,
Outruns cars, that kind of thing.
So, Jawa, what kind of mortal preference do you think your Russian expat would have?
Well, I'm trying to part of what I'm worried about is if I try and define something that covers too much ground.
Well, it could be like genuine brunettes, people of Swiss descent, soldiers, meth users, like a category of people that is not necessarily everyone, but could still be like broad enough that in this small town you can find enough of them. Just like it reflects a personal preference, not necessarily like a huge difficulty.
Right. I'm wondering something maybe like maybe there's a better way to find it, but like the underclass or
the downtrodden.
So the lower class rather than the upper class?
Yeah, like people who are a class below him.
That might be a lot of people, considering that you might still have a good amount of wealth.
Well, like I said, we're concerned about spreading it too wide.
I would say that specifically like people who are
I feel like most Ventrue would probably not want to drink from those of a lower class than them.
I like the idea because it's like he's slumming it because he prefers that flavor.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking in terms of it's an idea of these people are even lower beneath him, like than it's sort.
So it's like he thinks that he's fallen down so low, but the fact that there are people that are even lower than him gives him something to keep going.
And maybe like it's a power, like him seeing himself on another level. It's a kind of thing of, well, this is kind of some sort of power trip, or like, you know, exploiting the people below him.
Yeah, it's more about the experience than the flavor, but they have this sort of blood has a flavor, and there's something about the sort of desperation of the undertrodden underclass that you really prefer, and you've had so much of that.
The fact that he knows he is better than these people.
Yeah, I'm willing to accept that because that does kind of make a stupid amount of sense. So
It's
I'm
li-
willing to say that your Ventrue Bane is you have to feed on the poor and downtrodden in some way. Otherwise, if you go to like a cul-de-sac suburb and feed off one of the happy rich families there, you're gonna be like, that's got none of the despair. Ugh. Yeah.
these people are actually successful.
Oh, it's just none of that. Ugh, taste of failure. Need that.
This stuff is too milquetoast for me.
It's not even that. He'll vomit it up if like he has to really like keep it down. This like the good stuff. Like it's not even like it's the good stuff. It's like people are too happy, make him sick.
Because he literally loves the taste of misery.
All right. So make sure to note that down under your clan bane.
Can only drink the blood of the miserable.
Yeah. Specifically, like economically miserable. Like people who are just in poor straits in life.
People who do not have social standing.
So
Yeah.
all of Dr. Bright's customers.
Yeah. However, you'd
stay away from mine.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty sure Ventrue have a strong dislike of baggers, which is the vampires that drink blood from bags and not from a fresh body.
I can see that.
So, yeah.
But, vampires come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
And this area you're in is not terribly, like, politically active anyway. Obviously, it has a community and everyone knows everybody, but...
This is part of the reason why he misses the Soviet Union, because it was full of miserable people.
You can find misery anywhere. Although...
I think you might be doing pretty well in 2020.
That is true. 2020. Yes, 2020 was
honestly, like, America's starting to, like, remind you of the Soviet Union in its heyday for you.
Yeah.
2020 was a miserable year, but not for me.
This whole situation is tragic, just not for me. These poor bastards. Let's see, so yeah, I got my disciplines.
Sweet.
And I keep scrolling past them. But yeah, I picked a Lethal Body and Soaring Leap for potence, and I just stepped on the cat. And Celerity, I picked up Rapid Reflexes.
Outstanding.
All right.
And now to choose my clan bane and all that stuff.
Your clan bane is chosen along with the clan, and for Brujah...
well, I mean, write it down specifically.
Yeah. Your clan bane, as Brujah, your blood boils and simmers with rage, threatening to explode at the slightest slight. You have a harder time resisting Fury Frenzy.
Does it have a name specifically?
It's just the Brujah clan bane.
Like, just subtract dice equal to the bane severity of the Brujah from any roll to resist frenzy is probably what you would put down.
See.
Oh, that reminds me. See, blood potency.
Yeah, where is blood potency? Because, like, I've seen it mentioned, but not actually what it does.
Blood potency is kind of factors into some of your powers and.
Oh, that's an adorable kitty.
What cat? That's a snow leopard, man.
It's a cat.
He's a big cat.
It's a feline.
I didn't mean house cat. Just, it's a cat.
Big cat.
Cat.
So, since most of you have been you've been vampires for more than 10 years, but probably less than 50.
Uh-huh.
Your blood potency is probably going to be 1, and your bane severity is going to be 1.
Okay.
No, actually, your bane severity is going to be 2. The companion they released just recently errataed the bane severities up. Which I'm going to use because I think I don't know, I think 1's a little weak, especially since most vampire games are going to be with starting characters anyway.
Yes.
I don't like to be simple. My vet is snow leopard.
Although, as a the errata also increases the amount of additional dice you get from Blood Surge. So we're doing that as well. You'll get 2 dice from using Blood Surge. And blood potency is going to be 1. All right. So yeah.
So in terms of the severity thing, it would be difficulty to resist frenzy would be 2 because of the
You would, I think it would be you lose 2 dice to your roll to resist.
right. That's what I figured it meant, because I'm reading a thing right now and it says all difficulties to resist frenzy increases by 2 for. Oh, so I guess that would be even more. Oh boy.
It says in the book, subtract dice equal to the bane severity of the Brujah from any roll to resist fury frenzy.
Okay, maybe that was the errata change. Oh, Spider-Man and a cat. That's fun. That must be from the new Spider-Man.
So we're gonna go with that rule of if you end up rolling Fury of Frenzy, you lose 2 of the die you would normally roll. All right. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. I should probably drink some water.
Hey, you could take a water break.
Now let's go to skills.
Yes.
And skills, there's sort of like 3 like skill packages that they do for like quick creation. We're gonna do that. Because goodness me.
There's a lot of skills.
There's a
like
few skills.
21 or something.
Yeah.
Does
So
anyone
let's
know
see.
how to drive? Because from my from my experience, not having someone drive, it's like, we don't need to drive. We can run.
So on page number 147 in the book, there's a block called alternative
skills.
Alternative quick skills assignment. It says pick 1 skill distribution: jack of all trades, balanced, or specialist. And you get that many. You get to allocate that many skill points depending. That's what we're going to use. There's also some skills have specialties, like academics, craft, performance, science.
Like those you get a free specialty for whenever you take the first dot in it.
Yeah.
And then you can get 1 more specialty to put anywhere.
Yes. A specialty means that if a situation involves that thing, which hopefully isn't too broad, then you can add 1 more die to it.
Do.
I missed that entire thing. I wasn't paying attention.
Page
Good job.
147. Quick skill assignment distribution.
I was trying to write something down and the character sheet was not cooperating.
We are assigning skills now.
I'm not sure I should take specialist because I don't know like what specifically be the one thing for specializing.
In what
well,
skill?
if you, yeah, all the skills have potential specialties after that they list after going over what the skill does,
Here we go. Alternate.
which is, I think, skills.
There are some skills you get a free specialty in.
Right.
Like in core traits, after the attributes and willpower, you have skills, which after each skill, they have a list of specialties that you can use if you want. Or you can make up a specialty that fits within the skill.
Skills
Let's
are
see.
academics, animal ken, athletics, awareness, brawl, craft, drive, etiquette, finance, firearms, insight, intimidation, investigation, larceny, leadership, medicine, melee, which is armed rather than brawl, occult, performance, persuasion, politics, science, stealth, streetwise, subterfuge, survival, and technology.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a few.
27. There are
you're-
27 skills.
You're not going to get to specialize in all of them.
Not at all.
Probably.
At most, you can specialize in like 5 base, and then certain advantages give you additional specializations, or can.
So where it says add free specialties to academic, craft, performance, and science.
If you have at least one die in
That's
any
if
of those,
you
get
take
to
a
add a
dot in
specialty.
them.
Oh, okay.
Because
I
they're
see.
such broad topics that you should theoretically have a topic that you are better at in general with those.
And you get a free specialty regardless.
And you get one free specialty for anything you want besides. But if you take any points in those skills that it lists there, then you can take a specialty in that as well.
Let's see. What exactly are the purviews of technology specifically? That seemed a little broad to me.
Technology is understanding and using modern technology, computers, and online activity, which for vampires is not trivial, because a lot of vampires are ancient and do not understand technology.
Fair enough.
It's trivial for anyone who's born and raised in the last 2 decades, but for people who have been, vampire characters who have been around for hundreds of years, they are so archaic they're just like, I don't get this.
What's a Twitter?
What the hell is a Twitter? People keep talking about it, and it sounds annoying.
To be fair, they're not wrong.
Like the Camarilla got to the point where it's like, we're going back about 500 years. Screw this.
Okay, knock it off.
4,
Yes.
1, 3, 3, 3.
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna go with the balanced option.
Yep, all valid.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually going specialist.
Makes sense.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you two, Silvia and Circe definitely seem like the learned ones who are.
It's like I have
Special.
to go back and forth between 4 different pages, and they're all far from each other.
Of course they are. Let's see.
Yeah. it kind of helps to have multiple tabs of the same book open
You think
because
that
of
I
how
would
many
do
pages
that?
there are, but
You'd think I'd do that, but I don't.
yeah,
Well, that
It's
would be
not.
good, wouldn't it?
it
I
helps
should probably
somewhat.
think about doing that.
Yeah, I'm still not doing it though. Thing
I don't
is,
think. Let me see. I think I might go for balanced, maybe.
One.
Let's see.
Four.
Brawl is unarmed, so I think I'm gonna do that.
Like the most important thing for my character, I think, is having medicine at least 3.
Probably.
Yeah, same.
What's craft specifically? That's fixing.
Crafting, building, shaping.
That's making
Just-
anything, and
yeah.
that's one of the ones you need to take a specialty in, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking not only joking aside about the coffee thing. I figure he probably has to know quite a fair bit about how to
Science.
have a bit of technological and crafting knowledge to do what he does.
Investigation.
Don't know what the specialization is.
You could probably,
Probably coffee.
yeah, you could probably do coffee.
Let's see.
But there might be something else you could use. Just gotta keep scrolling around for all these skills, because, oh boy.
There's a lot.
Yep.
Don't do that. How's everyone doing? Got any questions?
Oh, I never took that in.
I have some questions, but we're not there yet, so I'll hold off.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, since everyone's kind of working, just hit me with them.
So with the advantages and flaws,
Yes.
are we? So if you take can you take extra flaws to get extra merits, or is it just you have the 2 points in flaws plus whatever else your other things get you, and the 7 merits plus whatever else your other things get you?
Yeah, I think it's just 7 and 2.
Okay.
So
You cannot min-max to that degree, no.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I've got persuasion and subterfuge as 2 of my level 3. I'm trying to figure out whether
Probably etiquette.
think etiquette be.
Yeah.
They're like a high society social setting sort of.
Yeah,
you know.
and insight. Because it's like politeness in social settings is
Like
etiquette.
if you really want to be
Well,
like
I'm looking at what
like
my
social flower type of
because
guy.
I have 3, I can put 3 points in. I did use one of my 7 ones to get a single point of drive, so
I mean, I'll probably
No one
have
else
drive
has
as
that
well
covered,
since
I
I
do.
operate out of a van for the most part.
I'm just.
But I do plan on having a haven as well
I was
because
told.
I need a lab. Go
I
on.
need. I have a haven, or I should, if that's what that means. Because that would be.
Yes.
That
Like
would
your
be-
haven would be your clinic.
Yeah.
My character knows how to make and break stuff.
Academics. Okay. I had to literally go. It's like, okay, I have to pick up 10 skills. I don't remember how many of them go for what, but I'm going to write them down in a small little notepad and go back up.
Ah.
Oh, and I took academics and science, so 1 more? Yes, I don't know what that means.
What?
Larceny is like forging and all that stuff, right?
Larceny is
Yeah,
like
forgery-
breaking and entering and stealing and.
Yeah, forgery is a specialization of larceny.
Got
It says under larceny that the Ventrue might call it security
it.
Because, well, it does include the crime aspects of it. It also includes the defending against the crime aspects of it.
It would be thievery in any other system.
Yeah.
I figure at least might have a dot in it because he, might know, so might need to know a few ways around, keeping the books clean, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, dumb question because I'm stupid, and again, I've stated I'm not.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Add free specialties to academics, craft, performance, and science. I have academics and science. So
yes, add a specialty to both of those. Academics.
Like for me, I have. I've got science with a specialty of biology.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I thought that's what it meant. Because I literally am taking, and I didn't put any numbers to these, so I haven't put dots to them. They're science.
I'm going to specify, Azure, that it's human biology that is your specialty.
Okay.
I can do.
Because biology is a bit too broad.
Because
then it's just one of the what was it? It's just one of the standard specialties that they've got it under it.
That's true.
Oh wait, there's something. It's under it. Where?
Under after they have the things where it tells you how many dots is like what thing, they've got specialties below it under each skill.
So,
oh, okay.
So I'm feeling like I'm wondering if politics or leadership, if those might be good for my third 3 skill.
That might be.
They might be.
Up to you.
I took a dot in politics because I thought, it might be sacrilegious to not have any knowledge of politics at all. I mean, if you're in a place where a bunch of people are talking and drinking, they're probably going to be talking about, current events.
You've overheard a lot of conversations, even between kindred.
Yeah. I myself know that I have no etiquette, no politics, and no leadership.
You just focus
no brawl,
on the anti-food truck.
No athletics.
I don't have any physical skills.
Am I the only one who took some physical skills?
No, I didn't.
mean, I'm taking melee and craft and firearms.
I took
and drive.
I took brawl, craft, and survival and stealth.
I craft makeshift wooden stakes in case I need to fight off any vampires that try to kill me.
I need a high level craft to maintain the necessary machinery to make the perfect brewed coffee and other things that I need to make.
Survival.
Having some streetwise is probably a good idea.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So let's see, how many skills total?
I have 1 in social, 2 in physical, and then everything else is mental.
Yeah.
Sounds like a specialist.
Let's see.
You all have different builds and specialties, and I say that's a good thing.
For specialists, it was 3 at 3 and 3 at 2.
Yeah, 1 at 4, 3 at 3, 3 at 2, and 3 at 1.
Science.
So a total of 10 skills. Balanced has a total of 15, and Jack of all trades has a total of 19.
That should work.
So if you're indecisive, pick Jack of all trades.
No, I have specialists. That's not the issue.
Oh, I know.
Animal kin, academics, finance.
What else?
Yeah, that's probably fair.
How's everybody doing?
We fill in the boxes for our health and willpower, right?
Yes. So you would have 6 and 6.
Fill in the boxes that you're not going to use.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
then
I was thinking we
keep
fill
the
up
rest.
the ones that we do use, and then we unclick the ones that we
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I did.
lose.
Okay, so fill in the ones that we're not using.
Fill the ones that you're not using and use the rest as a tracker.
Got it.
So Azure, we're
I
basically
feel like that. Yeah, I feel like the tracker works better on paper and pencil rather
It
than on
does.
PDF.
You'll have to figure out a way to mark down like superficial versus aggravated damage.
All right.
You'd normally it'd be like a 1 cross for superficial, 2 for aggravated.
Just have to make a note.
But for the purposes of knowing how much your maximum is, just like from the right, fill in the ones that you're not going to use, and then you've got the rest as that's my bar.
Yeah.
That's how it's normally done.
Oh, I can do I can just call it zoology. That's great.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I was making that the academics, but I can make that the science too.
Yeah, academics is more like humanities stuff rather than science stuff.
Well, it's the study of animals.
Yeah.
And then the science goes into the more medical side of it.
Okay.
Because right now I have it as animal biology because you have to do human biology. And then academics is zoology, so that's basically animals. They are my thing. Hello.
Yep. And my specialization is going into medicine surgeon.
I haven't even thought about specialties in any of my stuff thus far.
Oh, I didn't even write down a
Although pharmacy might also be good to like do drug tests.
You would be pharmacy.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. But
Yeah.
Wait.
My
But,
free
like, my
one.
main
Oh, go ahead.
it's the challenge between choosing between what fits your occupation and what is more useful.
what are you likely going to roll in this session is probably a good question. Like the stuff for your day job, you can assume that you're pretty good at it. But
yeah,
like the stuff that you're actually going to do like skill tests for,
probably not. Probably neither. I don't think medicine usually comes up for vampires. It's more of a mortal
not
thing.
especially. No, they kind of heal themselves.
Yeah.
Like you just if a vampire. First of all,
It's more of
if
a
a
flavor
vampire
skill.
goes to a hospital, other vampires are going to jump them and be like, "No, don't."
Yeah.
Two,
On the other hand,
a vampire goes to a vampire doctor. The answer is always bed rest in a place that's safe with no light that's blacked out,
Yeah.
and you'll be fine. Make sure you got a source of blood.
take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Hands them 2 packs of blood.
Well, that only works for vampires that have the iron gullet advantage.
So I think I've got all my points aligned, but I haven't put any thought into what specialties are in any of this.
Yeah, I'm still thinking on all my skills.
You've got 1 free specialty, and did you pick any of the ones like academics or craft that require or have a free specialty attached?
No, I've got 1 in drive, 1 in firearms, 1 in larceny, 1 in stealth, 2 in etiquette, 2 in insight, 2 in leadership, 1 in performance, 3 in persuasion, 2 in streetwise, 3 in subterfuge, 1 in awareness, 2 in finance, 3 in politics, and 1 in technology.
Really just the
Okay.
performance and then your free one, I think.
So there's one free one for performance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Performance being like expressing art in person to an audience.
Yeah.
So you might know like an instrument or something.
Or it might be a comedian.
Well, I
And
was
they had
thinking-
public speaking too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
public speaking would actually
Public
be
speaking
yeah,
would
that-
probably work well.
That sounds like it would fit exactly what I have in mind for that.
Yeah.
Like ability to convey things and yes, public
To a large
speaking.
audience, yeah.
Actually,
even
you know what? I think I'm going to change my science from biology to anatomy.
Yes. Yes.
Because there
Human anatomy.
is a huge difference.
Yeah.
Slight difference.
So my free I put into occult for divination.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have academics, so I did journalism, and I had science, so I did psychology.
All right.
How do you see yourself using the psychology specialty?
So I think, like, as a writer, like, she is good at kind of, and it's why I put manipulation higher, is good at, like, making arguments. So I think she has, like, an understanding of the way people, like, think about things. So
Here's my question. Do you think you might use psychology on every insight and persuasion roll?
Well,
no,
it's
I
not an
didn't think
insight or
so.
persuasion
I would think,
specialty.
yeah, and insight's a different one. So I would think that the psychology would more come into maybe like a broader,
So how do you
like,
so rolling science psychology?
right.
That'd probably be like if you're trying to tell someone else about the details of it or explain to someone
Or looking into
the
like a
inner
medical
workings of,
condition? Like a psychological
like-
condition?
I wasn't really thinking about it so much as like conditions.
like if you roll a insight check, then you could roll a science psychology test to explain to someone else why the person is the way that the insight check says they are. Probably. Very
Yeah, I guess the fact that it's attached to science kind of really narrows it.
yeah, it's more like a research thing than
You're really good at researching psychological
Practical thing.
things. Or
Right.
knowing about psychological topics in a esoteric sense, but not so much like reading people.
Right.
Although you've got other skills for that.
Yeah, insight would be like the reading people one, I would guess. And
yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all fine.
So you said we
Like-
get
oh, go ahead.
you said we get one free specialty,
Yep.
Yep.
For any of the
and
skills you
then
got.
and then in one's like performance, you get a bonus one.
Yeah, if you put points into performance or academics or science or any of those, you get a specialty to start.
Okay.
Yeah, you get one specialty at the first dot of academics, craft, performance, or science.
And then at character creation, you get one free specialty for any of the ones you want. Just put it anywhere.
Which theoretically you could add another specialty to your academics, craft, performance, or science.
Yep, you can stack
Dual
multiple
specialties,
specialties.
but
Well, I'm looking at something with either persuasion or subterfuge to like convince people that what they think is the
yeah.
I don't know whether that's be
Convince
what the
people what?
impeccable. Oh, like convince people that what they think is the truth isn't actually the truth.
Like you could do I think one of the ones I
Gaslighting?
had for persuasion. Gaslighting, yeah. You can do gaslighting. That is actually a specialty that they have, not under one of the things specifically, but in a sample character, one of their specialties was gaslighting. And I can't remember if it was subterfuge
Persuasion,
or
gaslighting.
persuasion.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Convince.
I hate your character so much. But like I see him so clearly.
I mean, the idea is Mr. Totally Not a Vampire.
Yeah, it's totally not a bloodsucker capitalist, yeah. Oh.
As
Yeah,
opposed
I would
to-
accept gaslighting as a specialty for persuasion.
Do not do this at home, kids.
All right. Sounds like we're getting close to done with the skills then.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what my particular craft specialty would be.
Brewery.
I mean,
it-
I like cooking appliances, like cooking in general, really.
Culinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Culinary crafting.
culinary arts got it.
Craft
Yeah,
culinary.
and you're not you're a vampire. You don't even eat food, but you're good. You're good at the art of it somehow.
To be fair, the way they talk about skills is like things from your human life
That is also true.
that carried over.
You might have been a very good cook before you returned.
I mean, nothing like using food to persuade people.
There's some truth to that too.
Nothing like cooking to make you feel like you're
you
still
own
alive.
you own a hospitable establishment where other kindred are free to gather, like as a neutral ground too. So, you know, you've got a place in the vampire world that way.
And his other specialty is bar fights.
Getting into them or stopping them.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Doesn't matter who started it; he's going to finish it.
It's like, get the hell out of my place.
My only combat skills are getting out of fights and shooting people.
My combat skills are shooting people and intimidating them to not fight me,
Good. We've got
And
a few
also
firearms
fight,
people. Good to know.
like stabbing them.
My combat skills are not being there.
Same.
Combat, firearms, melee, intimidation.
I do
My
the same.
combat skills are not.
I have
I survival and stealth. I'm not there.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
against-
mine are not.
against any human, against any mortal, you two are still going to be like superheroes
Yeah.
to them. But
I'm not there.
against any like other creature of the night, you are kind of outmatched.
against a creature of the night, you are as baby.
Now, that doesn't mean you can't defeat them. It's just the odds are not in your favor.
Yeah.
Tell that to my strength score.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Creative use of
I-
disciplines, maybe, but still.
I'm gonna send the entire population of a nearby forest after you.
No, you're not.
No. I mean, you're gonna do that to them.
Oh. No, I'm going to send this entire veterinary clinic at you, and
That
I'm going to make sure that your dog never learns how to properly urinate outside, and that he always knows that your bed is a litter box.
Well, the thing about kindred though is that normally animals don't like them, so they're not really pet keepers most of the time.
Which is why you need animal ken if you're doing that.
I do have animal kin.
And there you
Yeah.
go.
So you have mastered the ability to get animals to obey your commands.
Like
I
a
also
proper,
have animalism as my discipline, so I'm
like a
talking.
proper fucking vampire. Sorry, I was waiting for the opportunity to use that
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
one.
I was surprised it took 2 hours and 45 minutes.
How I wish I had the animalism ability to understand why my cat keeps swiping at me for the past 2 hours.
Because you're not paying attention to him, and
I am paying attention to him. He's been on my lap, and I've been petting him when I'm not typing.
It's because it is cat, and that is what cats do.
cats are agents of chaos.
He is an agent of chaos.
But no, like memes aside, like I really do like the whole vampire lore thing of, you know, controlling bats and wolves and stuff like that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. All right. Coming up on the 3-hour mark for this session, and there's still a fair bit of stuff to do.
Ah,
It's okay, we got this.
So let's. One of the minor things we can probably take care of now is predator types. Starting
that
on
was
page
the part that
170.
got-
175 in the book. This determines how you normally prefer to feed, and it also gives you like extra specialties and dots of at gaining dots, losing dots, and other things. So it's kind of a perks package as well as a personal flavor thing. There is Alley Cat. You stalk and drink from people down dark alleys whenever possible. Baggers, you get cold blood. Blood Leech, you drink from other vampires, whether, hunting, coercion, or as payment, you have someone that you regularly feed from. Oh, so it is. At a percent.
Yeah.
That's from
Cleaver.
It's one of the predator types.
That's where the persuasion gaslighting is.
Yep.
wow.
It's literally in the book.
And Cleaver
love
is
it.
like
Yeah.
is like you have a mortal family you have ties to that you feed from regularly.
I just don't know at all.
That's a horrifying one. Consensualist is you feed from someone willingly, whether as sort of like a kink thing or because they know you're a vampire, which is the Camarilla would hate that. Farmer, you only feed from animals. Osiris, you are a celebrity and you have followers or fans who you can easily lure into a situation where you can give them the kiss, the capital K kiss.
Yep.
Sandman, you break into people's houses and sleep and drink from people while they're sleeping. Scene Queen, there's a certain like subculture you're a specific part of, and where you have a lot of status, and your victims come from that life. And then Siren, which is you feed during you feed during sex.
Kinky. What were you laughing at?
I'm assuming that like explicit sex is one of the lines we're not going to cross in this campaign. So
Yeah.
probably don't take
hope-
that one.
I hope we have a line drawn there.
Line drawn for Jawa, and therefore the game. There. Done.
I just have no idea at all. I've been staring at the predator types thing probably most of this session because I have no goddamn idea.
Well,
I mean,
Farmer
now
would
you
be
do.
the easy one.
Do you?
I was thinking
Yeah.
farmer
do you feed
when
off
I was
of the
reading.
animals that you take care of.
Yeah, but I
There
don't
you go.
think she eats her,
Do
her
I-
patients.
You
I-
don't
do I need-
have to kill them.
Yeah.
Are you
Like,
aware?
I just
about-
feel
That's
their
not the
blood.
point. I don't think she might save it for other people, sure, who are essentially
Keeping
farmer,
work and
but
food
I don't
separate.
Yeah, I don't think she actually eats from her client.
well,
Animal client.
Okay.
if I may,
I
one
like
of the few
that.
things. One of the things I do understand about how it works is that the feeding thing is a how can I put this? You don't drink them dry. That's
No, I fully get that part. That's not the issue. I fully get that it's not.
You might
drinking
have
something
like
dry.
a stable of animals at home, although you kind of live at the vet, so that doesn't really work.
Yeah, I really don't think she feeds her animals. I
All right,
think
so
she's-
yeah, not Farmer.
that's why I saw it. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But then I had this feeling of like,
do you
it doesn't
think
feel like
do you think that maybe like the other techs you have at your vet office might know what you are and allow you to drink from them?
Yeah, because also feeding from a human or an animal doesn't make them a vampire. It requires a specific set of circumstances.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
drink from them and then give them your blood.
I
That's how the
think
embrace works.
you know what that might, and it might be the night person.
Sandman.
No,
No, like
I know there's more
Like-
people because I know how a doctor's office works and a vet's clinic probably works the same way. But in my mind, I'm using 3 as my easy number. So like
yeah.
there's the vet, which is Dr. Aislinn, and then there's a tech, one for the morning shift, one for the afternoon shift, and one for the overnight shift. The overnight person is probably aware, if not,
Or they could be a thrall or ghoul.
or they could be in a relationship, in
Yeah.
which they know, maybe, or maybe
Which-
that's I think you don't know.
It would have to be like more than one person though, because if you're even taking a sip from a person for too long, they'll start to get like weak over time because you're draining them of blood.
Yeah, maybe the morning person too. And it's like, why are you such not a morning person? I don't know. It feels like I'm being drained every morning when I get to work.
Well, that would be
There
hard
is
because
also-
by the time the morning person comes in, unless they come like right before sunrise, you'd be like right before you have to go to bed right away, or else you burn in the sun. You drink from them.
Well, that's saying that I don't have window curtains.
You'd have to have like the entire building blackout,
Blackout curtains are pretty good. I have them.
but like
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
sealed, like taped
Yes.
down.
Yes. Also,
Like you could go the cleaver route and just have a night shift crew that you.
yeah, like I
drain
know
from.
I'm only using. I know I'm using like 3. I'm saying only 3, but it's probably more because
Yeah.
having only one person to that shift is like horrible. And if that
Speaking of,
person can't come in, that is like the worst.
and
I'm just left to the
congratulations, Aphid, you understand security better than the average person.
Honestly, just most jobs.
I think whoever applies for the night shift, whether it's the techs or the people at the desks, they have an extra
You typically have at bare minimum.
an extra interview.
Well, I was going to say
Well,
typically. the
okay,
companies
so
have
I
this
see
one.
2 ways of going about that. Cleaver, even though it's not a family, but technically Cleaver if it's you're feeding from them without them knowing, or Consensualist if they all are in on it.
I feel I'm really feeling consensualist, and it's only the night shift.
The night shift at your vet clinic knows that you're a vampire and has agreed to let you feed from them.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they also don't. Consensualist, they don't necessarily need to know you're a vampire. They just need to consent to give you their blood. So,
If you can come up with a different reason, yeah.
like, I could theoretically take consensualist, as in, if they want to get treated, they consent to giving me their blood.
Part of the
but-
payment.
Yeah. Because it is part of the payment, but that's whether they consent to the treatment or not.
Yeah, I was actually hilariously, I was thinking the idea of blood leeching. With the idea of the little coffee shop being a neutral ground. So hey, you come in here, that's part of the price. That's the cover charge for vampires.
You give everyone these special brews and this safe haven. Man, you're like an underground prince of your own little tiny domain. People have to give you blood in order to pay the cover charge of having your little neutral ground.
That's specifically for the kindred. The regular folks,
Well, you don't serve them the mortals and the kindred at the same time, generally.
I'm sure somebody's like, what? They just leave a cup of coffee there, someone who drinks it's like, why the fuck does this taste this way? It's so weird.
Yeah, I know
It's like,
I know that like there's sort of like the kink explanation, but we're not getting into that in this. That's kind of over our line of like.
Yeah.
I mean,
sexual
I
content,
joke
so.
I joke about that, but I'm not bringing it in here.
I'm just reading Zarhan stuff in the chat, and I'm like, well, I have met people who work on the overnight shift. You get a lot of weird people because they're the only people who take the hours.
Yeah, but I
feel-
think for the sake of like Jawa's line of not getting into that, we don't make it like a kink thing.
I feel personally attacked.
Okay.
So
No, like people who actually think they're vampires.
Oh,
Well,
I know. I'm saying I'm saying I'm the dude. I'm the dude that usually takes those night shift hours. It's only recently I started working during the day.
Then you should be attacked.
So,
Why
all right. So, I absolutely buy that you can take blood leech because you serve not really like food and coffee to kindred. A lot of kindred think that like drinking actual food is weird. Like they're just like, ugh, why would you do that? That's not vitae at all. But I definitely think that like the service you provide of like this neutral ground where people can have clandestine meetings and meet their contacts and whatnot, is worth a cover charge of like, okay, yeah, you can drink from my vitae for a bit. So yeah, I think that's, especially if you're really established, at least 10 years. Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, you don't get much more clandestine than a coffee shop in a very small, relatively speaking, town.
Yeah, absolutely. Just without a doubt.
I'm torn because I feel like I could have aspects of Bagger, Consensualist, and Sandman. Because the people I take the blood from, they're not awake for that. But also, I do tend to bag the blood and run it through a drug test before I drink it.
I'd say that Bagger applies most to you.
Yeah.
The blood,
Bagger
when you
is
drink it,
you.
is usually cold. It's not usually fresh from the vein.
Yeah, I was thinking about going with Bagger. I was like, nah, that's boring. I can come up with a better idea.
See, I agree that there's a bit of overlap with your process, and you can keep all those details. But in terms of like the predator type package you get, I think Bagger most applies.
Yeah. I think my main issue with Bagger is the specialties. Like they have larceny, lockpicking, or streetwise black market, which don't really fit with the character.
I think because you're a street doctor, you've got at least a little familiarity with the black market.
That's fair.
You work in a not above ground business.
I do probably get my
little
tools from the black market.
Yeah.
And I probably sell fenced goods on the black market.
Yep.
Because I steal people's possessions in payment. I'm basically mugging them, but instead of like injuring them or killing them, I heal them.
Yeah.
It's like the story
Right.
It's like the story that I heard about somebody playing Skyrim and calling themselves a bizarre form of Santa Claus. Because they'd break into places. It's like, I take this stuff, but crap, I can't move faster. Okay, take their cabbages, leave these boots behind, and then go.
Right, so that also gives me a dot in Obfuscate. Because I'm not Tremere, so I don't get blood sorcery.
I'm getting that dot in Fortitude, because then it gives me all 3 for Gangrel. Haha.
All right.
Yeah, you probably acquire body parts at some point.
Yeah.
What's associated with Blood Leech?
Blood Leech, add a specialty, Brawl Kindred, or Stealth against Kindred.
So probably Brawl Kindred.
You gained 1 dot of Celerity or Protean. You lose 1 dot of Humanity. Everyone starts at 7, by the way. 7 Humanity, but Oblivious starts with 6.
Okay.
I get 8.
Wait, was it Protean or Potence?
Gain 1 dot
Celerity
of...
or Protean.
Yeah, Celerity or Protean. 1 of those.
Oh, so I could get another discipline besides that. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, the predator methods give you different things that might not be part of your clan.
Which is very cool.
Increase your blood potency by 1.
So you'll have blood potency of 2.
You also gain the Dark Secret Flaw, Diablerist or Shunned. And you also gain the flaw Prey Exclusion Mortals. Which is a feeding flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's on page 176 for you, Oblivious.
Okay.
And I believe these flaws and merits are extra to the ones you buy, right?
I think so, yeah.
Because you get 7 dots of advantages you can buy and 2 dots of flaws you have to take.
So I can have multiple specializations, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I just get those.
Generally, it's usually no more than the amount of dots you have in it. Like if you have 2 dots in something, you can have 2 specialties. There are certain exceptions, but I don't remember what they are.
Okay, so I got 3 dots in Brawl anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can fist fight another vampire without worry.
Yeah, and I essentially have the bloody mess, the vampire version of that, so that's gonna be fun.
Although I will say specialties, they don't stack. It's
That's
only
true.
one applies at a time.
Yeah, you can only apply one specialty at a time.
Oh no, I figured that. I mean,
That leaves Jawa and Vermin.
So, I was looking at 2, and I'm not quite sure. I was looking at both Osiris and Scene Queen. I just figured that she would be at least slightly notable in the scene of divination.
Occultists?
Yeah, like astrology, astrology.
I can see there
divination,
being like a sort of like hipsterish, like alternative divination sort of scene in this small town. Kind of more like a club.
Yeah, like with Osiris, I just figure like maybe she's got some books and she, I don't
might
know,
be an
sometimes
author.
has right. So she might have book signings or something where she has fans, and then maybe that's where, or she goes to talks or conferences and meets people that way, or I don't know, has meets people online and finds them that way. So it's not like a big meeting sort of fan or follower thing, but it's just I don't know, she could convince someone we're going to be doing this ritual, and I think you're a really great witch or whatever, and I'm going to need you to use some of your blood in the ritual, and then you'll give it to me, and then I'll do this with it, and then that's how she gets the blood, something like that.
Yeah, I guess I can see that being sort of like an occult club that you kind of scam people with to get blood, but you are so very persuasive in that scene, and you have published books, and you've Cecile Palmer.
Yeah.
Let's see. Scene Queen, relying you're familiar with a certain subculture and a well-crafted pose, feeding an exclusive subculture that believes you to be one of them. I think Scene Queen applies more.
Okay. Yeah, I was just having trouble figuring out which one of those it would be. So
in the hipster fan occult scene, you are a prime member of that group.
Yeah. So I had. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. Am I allowed to have 2 specialties?
If you have more than 1 dot in a skill, I think.
Okay.
So I guess on the specialty part, would that be, I guess, you get the choice of etiquette, leadership, or streetwise. The only one I already have skill in is etiquette. So would it just go into
etiquette,
that one?
If you don't have a dot in that skill already, rather than getting the specialty, you get a dot in that skill. I believe is how it works.
I don't know. I don't know if that's. I need it if the book says that somewhere, but
yeah. So
this is version 5.
I feel like I read that somewhere, but
it's version 5 of a game with a lot of legacy, so there's a lot of mixed information, and I don't want to go off of I think maybe. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking it up at the moment.
I'll move the 2 to leadership instead of etiquette, and then I'll
on page 149. If a predator type adds a specialty for which you lack the matching skill, gain a dot in that skill instead.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but if you take the specialty, it would be specialty occultist. Okay. As in referring to a fan of the occult.
Yeah, occultist scene. I'll put.
Occultist scene is good, yeah.
And then 1 dot in dominate or potence. I feel like it'd probably be more potence. I don't think she likes using it to like brainwash people so much as like influence them. I guess it's like a different way that she looks at it that might be sort of the same thing philosophically that you could debate about. But
you could use dominate to just make them not remember that you took their blood. Or if they found out something that they shouldn't have, you can just
just Jedi mind trick them a little bit.
That is true.
Maintain the masquerade.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be dominating them, just making them not aware of things that they once were.
Yeah, that probably works.
Yep.
And then, let's see, so that's 1 9. The fame advantage. The contact advantage. And then either the influence flaw, disliked outside, or feeding flaw, prey exclusion. I'll do feeding flaw, prey exclusion. Because I feel like she's not like particularly disliked by other people. I don't know. Because I don't think she'd like be a writer if just everyone outside of the scene like hated her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think with most skills that you have a specialty and you can have as many specialties as you have dots. However, with craft, it says, unlike most skills, you can have more specialties in craft than you have dots.
Ah, makes sense. Yeah, I agree with you, Vermin, that I don't think you would be disliked. Maybe, like, I think, like, anyone outside your subculture reads your stuff is like, that's a little, like, you're talking about, like, the stars and signs and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
I don't think it'd be,
right, but I don't...
like you're disliked, but you definitely, like, belong to, like, a really kind of, niche.
Right.
That
like,
I don't...
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
People do think of it as weird. And I don't I think you could interpret disliked as that, as like, oh, you're the crackpot.
I guess that works. We'll go with the disliked then.
Yeah, and I think that's a bit less harsh than prey exclusion.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But just having like a bit of a penalty to your ability to influence because you're the famous writer who is all about, stars and rituals.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. Not disliked, but like sort of like dismissed.
Right. Right. For people who would have something against like
for people who would be outside
or occult stuff, then they would find it they would be ones that would dislike it.
They would be put off, yeah. I think that just leaves Jawa's, Grigori's, predator type.
This is gonna be fun.
Well, I mean, I'm moving to ideas otherwise, but the two I'm looking at the most right now are either Consensualist or Osiris.
Ooh.
I feel like Osiris. Man, we are putting this guy in such a high status, but yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. He could be like a nighttime humanitarian. You go down to the poor people and they think you're doing good, and then you like make some of them forget that you take their blood.
You are a celebrity with some kind of cult of personality.
Yeah, that'd probably be the lead. The lead direction for it.
And oh man. And I think it's just like you're some sort of like millionaire philanthropist or something like that.
Yeah.
The Russian Tony Stark.
Yeah. Yeah, and I imagine it's possible that with his he preys on, people who are miserable. It's possible his current situation, he posits himself as a self-help or financial guru, but he sells you stuff that sounds good, but really, if you listen to him, it's not gonna it's either gonna not do you good or it'll leave you worse off than you originally were. But maybe that's...
I don't know if I really like that aspect of
Yeah.
like him actually like preying upon ruining people's lives for that.
Yeah, what is he? Prosperity gospel preacher?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
I still think Osiris is
Like-
a good fit, but like
You could be a talent agent going to disenfranchised neighborhoods and
well, Osiris
seeking people to-
implies like broad, intense celebrity.
yeah,
Like
a very well-known talent agent.
like a
Well,
DJ, a writer, a cultist, a preacher, a LARP organizer.
Yeah.
Like you have intense fandom who like treat you like the deity, basically.
Like what I was getting at is because it has one of the specialties is performance-specific entertainment field.
Right.
Like you could be a former entertainment person turned talent scout.
I'm trying to find the flaws, and I'm having some trouble doing that.
They're in the advantages or the merits section. Starts at 179. Each merit has advantages and flaws.
Oh,
Like one of those big like investment or real estate guru people that always have like those like what do you call them? The seminars that they like invite people to, or like a multi-level marketing things.
Yeah, I could absolutely see you as like a multi-level marketing guru.
Local man never leaves character, beloved by nerds the country over. Thank you, Den.
Everyone loves that Russian accent.
Listen,
Well,
we live in the middle of nowhere.
So what were you thinking with consensualist?
That it's like it's a game of convincing people to willingly give him their blood for some reason.
What reason would that be?
I mean,
Like,
he could pay them.
Well, that'd be a potential fallback, but it's like the thrill of knowing he's able to talk. The idea of...
Oh, okay. I think I get it. It's like you just go up to some random person and you're playing a game with yourself. It's like, how long until I can get this guy to give me his blood for whatever reason?
Like, yeah,
So
like
that'd probably
whether-
be
what-
the specialty persuasion vessels.
You mean victims?
Same
Or-
thing.
Yeah.
I actually do like that aspect, especially for a Ventrue who thinks they are just all that hot shit. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea is, how do I get this person to give me what I want? And what I want is blood.
No matter how weird it seems. And like the thrill of like you're flirting with the Masquerade. But you're enough of a jackass that like makes it just more exciting.
I mean, he usually makes them... I mean, to be on the safe side, he usually uses his forget about this power after the fact, but...
Yeah, you get them to consent first, and then you're like, hey, that didn't happen.
But I mean,
No, like,
it doesn't
didn't
matter if they forget after the fact, because he knows that they they agreed to it.
The most jackass consensualist. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Jawa,
Yes.
I need you to do one thing for me, and it's very, very important. I need you to do it right now, okay?
Oh,
What?
In this Russian accent that you're going to be gracing us with, I need you to say omelette du fromage.
God.
Say what?
Omelette du fromage.
She wants you to say cheese omelet in French.
With a Russian accent.
Well, it's meant to be. It's not meant to be a. I mean, it's more like your stereotypical vampire accent.
Do it though.
Omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage.
Okay, and on that note,
Okay.
I think for advantages, we're past the 3-hour mark by now.
Yeah.
Advantages, flaws, and convictions and touchstones are kind of the last things I think I need for the characters, and I think I'll let you guys, because there's a lot to look through for the advantages and flaws, and for convictions and touchstones, you're deciding what's one value your character holds and what's a current living human person you're in regular contact with who embodies that conviction.
Yeah, generally 1 to 3, and you need to have as many touchstones as you have convictions.
I'm going to say 2 for each of you.
Okay.
And it's someone you're in regular contact with, who is in your life and embodies this, who is important to you, whether you love them or hate them, but you still care about them.
So not the drunkard dad that I decided to be the antithesis of.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, if you haven't spoken to them in 20 years, they're not your touchstone.
All right.
If you haven't spoken to them in 6 months, they're not your touchstone. Someone who was in your life, your unlife, your connection to humanity.
And they do have to be human.
The standard starting humanity is 7, right?
Yes.
Yep.
If you take a merit or a predator type that changes that, then you.
Yeah, I'm just confirming because because as ironic as it seems for this character, he gains a dot of humanity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eventualist.
You
Do
are still.
we both have 8 now?
God, I don't.
I mean, you could take a flaw that reduces it.
That's a good point, actually. I don't know if you gain a dot of humanity for being the most cynical consensualist. I'm willing to trade that for something else.
Yeah, we can look into that before the next session.
Although, God, that adds a whole new wrinkle. You know what? Keep the humanity. I think that just implies
it could just be a matter of this. I mean, he's really good at pretending to be human.
Yeah, you still managed to connect with whatever humanity you had and the humans around you. You haven't given in to the beast so much.
The most dickish part of humanity.
Yeah.
But
he's a terrible person, but
you have not lost sight of the flaws of being mortal.
Actually, yeah, Humanity 8 would work because one of the things it says is Blush of Life allows you to digest and taste wine. And I imagine that would be a thing that he does.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. All right, yeah, keep the dot of humanity. But yeah, you have 8. Gabriel Carter has 6. Because he drinks from the vitae of vampires regularly.
I have 8 as well.
Yeah, which diablerie is particularly frowned upon.
I would definitely, Din. I would definitely ask for this character to be more sympathetic if we were playing a longer term campaign. But for a 3-session mini campaign, I'm willing to have him play a rich jackass. Just
Who
because,
knows?
like, especially like falling on hard times in a small town adds a lovely little wrinkle to that.
And
It's
to be
feel like
fair,
all of my
they're
touchstones are all these people I drink from.
his current lowly state is karma in action.
Yep.
It's still not the worst kind of jackass that I've heard about in this particular thing.
So yeah, advantages and flaws, I'll leave that to you guys to look at the book. I'm open if you have any questions. For touchstones, definitely run them by me. Make sure you pass along these character sheets to me when you're done, and if I have any other notes, I'll pass them to you. But in terms of like figuring out what session we're going to play, figuring out the basics of our characters, ironing out some of the big like concept questions, I think we did a pretty good job over these past 3 hours.
Mhm.
I think so.
And we had a lot of fun doing it.
Any other like final notes, things you want to like, you really want to make sure you see in the session
I will
in 2
probably
weeks?
put the document I've put together as is in the chat room, so I can make sure I'm covering the stuff I still need to deal with.
Yeah, we'll all figure it out together. We got 2 weeks until next time. Yeah, we can. Oh, there goes Jawa.
Well, bye.
Welcome back.
Oh, he's back.
That was awful sudden.
But yeah, I think that'll do it. Any other like final notes, final requests, things you want to have happen in the game, stuff like that?
Only, just really quickly, I wanted to make sure I got it down correctly because I was adding something to the sheet and I didn't quite get. What did you need the two from each on which ones?
Convictions and touchstones.
Convictions and touchstones. Okay.
But I clearly need you to populate this entire clinic and roleplay as every single person. No, don't.
How about you populate every person in that clinic and I'll play them if they come up?
Maybe.
It's almost like we're laying out the roles that we're supposed to be doing.
I know that if I do this, it's a minimum of 12 people I have to make up.
How about just the night crew?
And then there's
I'm
all
the night crew and the night ship cop who usually shows up.
What did I do this time?
If that's one of your convictions, definitely let me know.
It is a conviction. I actually have both convictions done. It's
Could you give an example of them?
The first one is always keep your sworn word, and it is night shift cop Wolfgang. I assume he's a guy. He's like driving around. He usually stops by to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, one of the few cops in this town who patrol around at night.
Yeah. And then none may control me, and that's her office manager Fiona, who she probably very rarely sees because she usually works in the morning.
Yeah, but like you still feel like the repercussions of her all the time.
Yeah, but I personally know how my own practice's office manager is, and how because the practice manager basically says how the docs are going to be run.
And if something bad happened to her, that would affect you greatly too.
Yeah, but it's also like people above her will come and say, okay, your practice needs to do this. And then our person will come by and be like, you know what? This is so silly. I do not agree with this at all. You keep doing what you're doing, doctor. I'm going to fight for you.
And then she goes,
you don't let anyone control you as you just keep doing all your good work, doc, okay?
And then she goes to punch a yuppie in the face.
Fiona is this like almost chihuahua of a woman, and I'm not sure how Cersei deals with her or how she hired her. I think she just showed up one day.
That just makes it even funnier.
It is.
You half-heartedly put out a call for an office manager, and then she just manifested.
She's just there, and it's like, "Hi, I'm your officer." Excuse me.
It's like, I can't see you. You're shorter than the desk.
And she just started
Yeah,
taking
you put
charge
out
of things,
an ad, and then she was already in the seat in the office.
And she just started taking charge to the point where it's like, oh, she's doing what we need, and no one really wants to say no.
Comes down from her apartment, and they're from the top floor, and there's like a whole stack in front of the door separating the clinic from her home. And it's like, oh, Fiona was here. What's all of? Oh, jeez, Fiona.
So yeah, I like those. Those are two examples of convictions and the touchstones they're connected to. The cop being, keep your word, and the office manager being, you don't control me.
Yeah, I've got one conviction, but no touchstones yet.
I think we'll save the rest for the start of next session. I think is what we'll do. So figure out advantages and flaws. Feel free to DM me if you want help.
We should probably also figure out the Chronicle tenets.
I need to figure out.
I'm not going to worry too much about Chronicle tenets. It's a 3-session mini campaign.
Don't be.
We're not going to be like. I don't think stains are going to be a huge factor in anything we're going to do.
Unless it's a really, really good campaign.
Unless it gets like wildly out of hand, but like that's kind of what I wanted to do with like the content stuff, that discussion, the lines and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Just so that for us players, we kind of know where the lines are. So not going to worry too much about Chronicle tenets. Not going to worry too much about like putting points into the coterie either.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I'm skipping that.
Yeah, I don't really know how to manage that. And for this, you're kind of like, you kind of all have your own thing, and what you're bound by is that you all live in the same town, basically. Like, you all know each other. Some of you might have had business with each other at some point, but you've all been in this town for enough years, and vampires kind of have to know who's everybody.
We're not really. So, are we going to worry about the relationship map?
I'm going to worry about the relationship map as you hand me convictions and hand me touchstone characters, but you just worry about you and yours.
Yay!
You know what? I think I might not take a specialty in medicine and take a specialty in. No, wait, never mind. I don't have larceny. I was going to do larceny forgery, because then that would make a reason for people to come to me, because I don't think any of the player characters... Huh?
Are you going to be a pill pusher or a blood pusher?
Yes.
I mean, I don't think any of you guys would buy anything off of me. So forgery would probably let me be a contact that you guys would have. Because otherwise, I guess I might.
You're someone who always has a supply of cold blood in a pinch.
Yeah. Although most vampires don't get any nutrition out of cold blood.
I think in like emergency cases, like a vampire is just like starving and needs a place to crash, Get a lot of boons that way.
Yeah, I think you said something about requiring the Iron Gullet merit to do that.
Yeah. You can feed from cold blood, rancid blood, and fractioned plasma. None of these provide resonances. Ventrue may not take this merit.
So, obviously, Grigori would never.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm slumming it, but still.
Could also just be I have a haven that I let people stay at. That could work.
I mean, I have a pretty big haven. I just don't know how to do all of this.
I live at your place.
You have a truck with blackout windows.
Let's put it this way. The first day they met, Dr. Bright's truck was in her parking lot, and she said, "No, get out." And now he just lives in the parking lot.
And I sometimes come in to use her lab.
You use the bathroom.
And the lab, because I can't have a lab in my truck. Van.
I
You need
mean,
a medium.
I mean, you could, but it would probably get really messy.
Well, no, you need to have a medium haven to have a lab. And a van would be a small haven at best.
I don't know how to do this Haven stuff, but I feel like it has to have the most points in it.
We will figure that out over the next 2 weeks. Next week for Spudventures, we'll be taking the week off because we've actually been pretty consistent the last few months, and it's going to be Christmas and New Year's break, so I could especially use the break. But we'll be back the following Sunday, the 3rd, with session 1 of this, the Blood Virulent.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
By the way,
yes.
The Haven advantage is on page 188.
Thank
for anyone that wants to look at it.
Thank you for listening to our Spudventures. If you like what you heard, you can find more at youtube.com/newbiespud or wherever you get your fine podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, etc. We aim to live stream these games every Sunday around 2 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/newbiespud. If you want to keep up with this and other projects I'm doing, you can follow me on Twitter at Newbiespud. And if you want to support my ability to produce more content like this, please consider supporting me at patreon.com/newbiespud. See you next time with session 1 of our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Chronicle, the Blood Virulent.